Never have I been so excited to get a whiff of sweaty jock straps. It's Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Yay, football, the fan. It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
So where's the office, back at Division? Yeah, in the office, baby. Going out.
Oh, baby, here we go. That's right. Big one on tap tomorrow. High noon, Happy Valley. We'll break it down over the next 3 hours, get you a lot of good takes on this game and more. Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and the Bake Show at the Switches. Fellas, pumped. Good to see you.
Oh, it's a Freaky Friday, and it's the day before what should be another banger of a game. You got to love it, man. This is why we love signing up as fans for sporting events, for games like this, when you have two what are perceived to be Goliaths according to the rankings.
However,
going at it.
Tell me and the folks what you told me about 15 minutes ago.
Well, before we get to that, let's do some house cleaning things here.
Really?
Because again today, here's what we got. Because we got goodies for the folks, man. You know we got to take care of our listeners. True. Winners receive 2 tickets to see AEW Collision live at Nationwide Arena Saturday, December 7th. Tickets go on sale now via Ticketmaster. So we have that for you. What else is on our menu today, Chef
We
Rothman?
will certainly have Brady Quinn on, as we always do. Big noon kickoff. We'll be in Happy Valley, so he'll join us from there, from State College at 12:33. Of course, we'll do overs and unders this hour, as we always do on a Friday. Who's going into the pressure cooker? 120. We'll make our picks against the spread, 133. Tim May will join us in the bulletin. That's at 148. And then you and I will dive into the big game again at 2 o'clock and the pressure on both of these coaches and the coaching staffs of these teams. We'll also have another visit by a guy who covers Penn State, Johnny McGonigal, at 2:33, and he'll give us a little insight into who they actually are over there at PSU. Other than that, nothing. Also, we'll talk Bengals and Browns.
It's a jam-packed menu. That's what Football Fridays are all about. So we were in the office together, obviously, about an hour ago, and we were chatting it up. And I said to you, AR, for me personally right now, I'm excited about the game, but I don't feel as juiced up about this one as I did the Oregon game. And I don't know why. And maybe it is the whole non-night game vibe around this that's doing that for me. But when we get to high noon and they kick this thing off tomorrow at Happy Valley, obviously I'll be locked in, and obviously I'll be excited to see what this does look like. But the anticipation, the juice, the rah-rah vibe that I had going into the Oregon game is completely different than it is for this one.
My only theory on that is that now that you've seen more and you've seen what has kind of happened here lately with Ohio State and the injuries on the offensive line, I'm not saying you're worried. I'm just saying there's a different vibe around a team that had a schedule of Akron, Western Mich, Marshall, Michigan State, and Iowa, and no one was really hanging with them other than Iowa for one half of football. But everything on the right side of that ledger was 6-0, 14, 7-7. Like Ohio State, outside of their schedule, was this behemoth, and they go to Oregon for the fire meets fire match, and they come out on the wrong side of it. There was a lot to be juiced about with Oregon, a lot. Yeah. Penn State has kind of been one of those teams that we all look up and say, even the casual sports fan, and this is probably maybe it's my theory on why you're not as juiced. We knew Oregon would be good. Perhaps great. Even though we saw them in the first 2 weeks, there was still a lot of respect for what they could be. I think my theory is that if you polled 100 casual sports fans and asked them what is Penn State ranked, there's no way more than 50% would say that's the third-ranked team in the country.
Top 3.
And I think that's it. It's not about anything other than that. I think that it's a great, compelling game because of where each program is right now. Penn State is 7-0, but they're not getting the headlines like Indiana is at 7-0 because the brands are different. Yeah. Indiana, it's an amazing surprise. First time they've ever been this way, or actually they're 8-0. Right? Aren't they 8?
Little
8?
engine that could vibe for Indiana compared to Penn State.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
It's the first time in 56 years. For Penn State, it's like, okay, beginning, I thought they'd have problems at West Virginia in their opener. They didn't. No. They played an ugly game and beat Illinois by a couple touchdowns. I got to give Drew Aller credit at USC, even though we don't think USC is that great. He needed 2 fourth-down big-time conversions in the fourth quarter to win that game. Mm-hmm. So they've had a little bit of everything on their schedule. They were supposed to go to Madison and get caught maybe looking ahead to Ohio State. A pick six changed the entire game. Yeah. Penn State is a very, very difficult team to handicap right now. I think with Ohio State, we can kind of see the wart right now. We can see it, but we can also see this the weaponry, and Will Howard, and you'll hear from him in a second again if you forgot about the soundbite from earlier in the week. I think that's what it is. I think there's some mystery around this game.
Which is good.
While it doesn't have this Ali Frazier kind of feel, it certainly has a cage match kind of feel. Like, you know what I mean? Oh. Like, I think Oregon, Ohio State was Ali Frazier. This one's like an undercard that you're like, this is going to be the best fight of the night. Okay. I think that's what it is. It doesn't come off to me that the result won't be the game heard round the world. Mm-hmm. But I think in our world, this is a cage match. This has everything because you know the consequences of losing while they aren't, hey, you're done, thanks for playing this season. It puts an incredible amount of pressure on Ohio State if they don't win.
Let me ask you this. If we're coming here on Monday and if Penn State hands Ohio State an L on the Defcon scale, where do you think most of Buckeye Nation would be?
Really kind of. It does depend on what happens with the rest of college football.
But just for us, where do you think DEFCON 2?
I mean, they're still a top 10 football team, even they lose, right? They're not getting dropped out of the top 10.
The rankings will come out.
Unless somehow something went so crazy that it turned into one of those.
They'd still be top 10.
It wouldn't make sense. So they'd still be a top 10 football team.
Yeah.
I think where the DEFCON number comes into play is where it's always come into play here in Columbus, Ohio. It's not, are you good? But are you great enough to win it all? And I think that if they lose this game, it does have a feeling of, well, it may be a season that might have been. And it may be one that, while a lot of people thought it was bought and paid for, this title before the season, that when you unwrapped it, it wasn't exactly what you were hoping for. And so I feel like they have all the bells and whistles, but do they have the engine that can really make this go? And that's the offensive line. And that's going to be the big question this weekend against this defensive line. If they come out of this on the right side, because you know the narrative, what's been thrown around, they're soft, they're not tough enough. Look at what Nebraska did, and they get pushed around by them. Mm-hmm. You come out of this game on the right side, and if the offensive line mans up against this D line and they make the plays that they need to make to win the game, I think suddenly they change a little bit from just our nation feel about who they are and what they can be, because right now they're being looked at as kind of a lot of style, certainly serious substance, but do they have the substance enough to win it all? And I think this game kind of sends it on one way or the other. You're not really off the highway. You're just on a little side road at this point, trying to get back on the on-ramp to a title.
You mentioned the narrative around this team, and a former Buckeye, and Zach Bourne, I believe, on his podcast this week, or some type of social media platform, so forgive me for not knowing exactly what it was. He dropped this quote and said, when this team goes out, it shows zero emotion, so shows zero fight, shows all these things, especially after getting beat on national television and arguably the biggest game of the year on your schedule in the regular season. You follow that up with a dud performance. That's what frustrates me. So that's just one guy's opinion that suited up for the Scarlet and Gray and knows what it takes to win at a high level. And so now you have former players, or a former player, looking at the program and questioning a bit of that toughness narrative, again, that emotion stuff that we've been talking about for the last couple of years. And so here you are going into what will be a tough environment against a very good football team. Obviously, it won't be the level of juice that they provide when it's a whiteout at night, But the thing hovering over Ohio State and Ryan Day outside of the X and O stuff in these big games is the Buckeyes have 4 straight losses versus top 5 teams. Now, you could say what you want about Penn State, and we can argue all day about whether they're deserving of being the third-ranked team in the country. At this point, they've earned it. They're 7-0. It is what it is. But that's the monkey that Ohio State now has to get off their back, because if you drop a second big-time game to Penn State, now to be Oregon and Penn State, then you're really looking at this program and saying, okay, what are we doing here? Because you brought it up. The money narrative around this team, it is what it is. You can't ignore it. You went out and spent millions and millions of dollars to win it all. And if you fall again to one of the elites around college football, people are really going to start doubting the ceiling of this Ohio State team. And people are already doing that before this game is kicked off based off of the Oregon game and some of these other big-time games in the past few years.
My contention is it would be worse, because I don't even view this. Yes, they have a 3 in front of their name, and I respect them. But you said one of the elites of college football. I don't know if Penn State is one of the elites. I actually think losing this game would be worse because, yes, it would add to that resume of top 5. But to me, Ohio State is a favorite tomorrow. Like, this has a different vibe to it than losing to a Georgia or losing, like it just has a different feel. Like, I keep coming back to, I'm not as worried about the resume of losing to a top 5. It actually might go down as worse because they're supposed to win. You think they're better. You think they have more talent. You think they have a big advantage potentially at quarterback. Like, you maybe have a advantage as a whole defensively, as a whole unit. So these are the kind of games that Ohio State usually wins. So if they lose this game, I don't just put it in a box of, well, there's another top 5 loss for Ryan Day. It actually would maybe be a bigger mark against him, perhaps. Here's Will Howard, though, the kid that takes this one personally.
I'm stoked. I cannot wait. It's going to be a homecoming for me. I grew up a Penn State fan. I wanted to go there my whole life. They didn't think I was good enough. But I guess we'll see next week if I was.
It's amazing. It's really been the headline of the week for me, Maddie, that the new kid on the block has taken such ownership of this team.
He could feel that way all he wants, but he can only do so much if the offensive line in front of him is not going to have a good outing, period, point blank for me.
What if you scheme it up differently for him?
That's the headline for me. He can be as jacked up as he wants and feel slighted about Penn State. He can only do so much. And so number 1 on the board for me tomorrow is O-line, 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 and then O-line again. Because when you're moving a guy over to left tackle that doesn't play that position naturally in Donovan Jackson, and some other things are obviously shifting because of that, you could run into some massive issues. So I hear Will on that, but that doesn't move me at all at this point. The offensive line play is the big deal for me.
Hopefully it'll move his offensive line in a good direction. All right, we are just getting started. James Franklin on the other side and trying to block out that big game noise. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Hey, what's up? It's Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night, and you can't stand your CPAP machine. The good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your significant other will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. Yeah, Marysville. If you're snoring and waking up all of Marysville or wherever you live and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also check him out online, sleepbettercolumbus.com, and now sleepbettermarysville.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Common Man and T-Bone.
Common Man's here. Yes, you got anything in Bubbles that's new?
In Bubbles?
I like the foaming hand soaps.
Oh, I see.
I can't have a regular soap.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Football is all about winning, and so is the Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 dealerships and a collision center, we've got everything you need to stay game day ready. Don't forget our Carvenience service, the most convenient way to service your vehicle. We pick it up, drop off a rental, and we bring it back to you when it's done. Plus, every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Hinderer Motor Company, where convenience and confidence meet. Visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
Gambling too much? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Mary Haven, where we offer in-person, virtual, and group options. We're here for you no matter what, and that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Go to MaryHaven.com today.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Time now to get a look at that weather report as we head into your Friday. Today, much colder than any other day this week. 60 for the high, plenty of sunshine today. Cold tonight, low 37. Sunshine on your Saturday with a high of 62. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
The best bet on the radio. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, Brady Quinn, bottom of the hour from Happy Valley. We'll see what kind of feeling BQ has on this game, because he's been like most of us. Loved Ohio State at Oregon, didn't work out. Loved Ohio State with 2 weeks home, anger, hungry, let their play do the talking against Nebraska, barely got out alive. And now you have Penn State, who I painted their picture this season, which is all they've done is kind of exceed the narrative. Like they have. That I will give them, Maddie. I'll give them when people thought this is the day you go down, they haven't. Yeah. And whether it was West Virginia, USC, at Wisconsin at night, peeking ahead, none of it's bit them. Franklin's taking a very obvious approach with Drew Aller's status. We don't know it yet. We'll ask Johnny McGonigal at 2:33 about where he is trending. But Franklin was asked, and this is the stakes for the game, all the noise around his horrendous record against top 5. In fact, he's really kind of said, Ryan Day, hold my beer kind of thing. Like he's got that kind of a record. And he was asked about it before this one, about trying to just reduce it to the game.
For us, we just stay consistent with our process. Is there a lot more noise outside? Do we start getting questions like your questions? Yes. Like I said today to Quarterback Club, West Virginia to open the season was a big game. Bowling Green was a big game. If you don't think it wasn't, lose to Bowling Green and see how people react. They're all big games. This is a big game because of how we've handled the previous 6. So we don't change our process. I can't control the noise and the things that are outside this building, but we stay consistent with how we go about our business, and I can't control the other things.
He's not wrong. There's a lot of salesmanship there. He knows it. He can't lean into it too much about his old big game blues. He doesn't want that to seep into his mind or his team's mind or the public's mind. It's already out there. He can't do anything about it. He is right, Matty. Technically, he is right. It just, the way he's kind of approaching this is, do you believe him or not? The only people that have to believe him is his team.
That's it. And he's lying about one thing. The Bowling Green game isn't a big game for them. They made it a game because Bowling Green, they allowed Bowling Green to hang around. But when he said that, I'm like, really?
Well, I guess he was saying,
really,
if we lost it, it would have been treated as a massive disappointment, obviously.
But it's fascinating to me that both parties here on Saturday, especially the head coaches in this game, have the same type of vibe around them. And can you win the big one? Now, like you said, you don't believe Penn State's a third-ranked team in the country? That's fine. I'm just going to give them that credit because that's where they're ranked, and that's just what it is. They're 7-0.
No, I'm just saying they got to prove it. That's all. I don't think they're inherently given this, oh, yeah, you probably are. I just think they still need to prove it. That's all.
So Penn State, going back to 2000, this program is 1-22 versus top 5 AP opponents. And the one big one they got was the one against Ohio State in 2016. And James Franklin, whether it's been Ohio State, whether it's been Michigan, whether it's been other games, he hasn't been able to get this done. And so he did some tweaking to his staff the same way Coach Day did this offseason. Coach Day brings in Coach Kelly. First, he tries to bring in Bill O'Brien. But on Penn State's side of things, Penn State has 2 new coordinators. And I think that's the structure that he was looking for. Both coaches were looking for is, can I identify some things around my team that I can help out with outside of what I do? And so you bring in Andy Kotelnicki from Kansas. You bring in Coach Allen from Indiana, who is now their defensive coordinator, and you could just feel the difference to me in Penn State this year with the structure that they have. Now, the biggest issue for them coming into this game is the quarterback situation and what's going to happen there with Drew Aller. Drew Aller has been very efficient this year. This is a guy last year that did not play well in big games, specifically the games against Ohio State and Michigan, where his completion percentage was low, below 50%. This year, the dude's completing 74% of his passes, and the lowest completion percentage he's had this year is 64%. So Andy Kotelnicki is coming to this thing. They've revamped their offense. There's more juice to it, and there's a lot of creativity to what they do. And so I think we talked so much this week about Ohio State's offense on third down, and rightfully so. It wasn't good enough. 1 of 10 against Nebraska is just a bad outing. But defensively, what Ohio State has to be worried about is this Penn State offense that's shown that we can march down the field. They've done it to a bunch of teams this year, 60-yard drives, 70-yard drives, and put points up on the board. So third down defense is going to be just as big as third down offense tomorrow, because Penn State's a unit that's shown that we can bleed the clock and keep you out there. And so the flip side of that will be, or can be, Ohio State having to catch up maybe in a game with what could be a shaky offensive line. We shall see. And their D-line having the ability to hunt because they know Ohio State has to put it up more times than not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the factor that we don't know about this game, is whether the Penn State, offense is still vanilla because they're thin at receiver. I fully expect, and believe me, they may be able to line it up and run it on Ohio State. And if they can, then more power to them, because if they can do that, which they abandoned last year in a game that they could have won at Ohio Stadium, then all of a sudden you've got something there, and you've got a tight end you can work with. If that running game with Singleton and Allen is working, and Tyler Warren is a big part of what they do, then all of a sudden they could control the game the way they like to control it. Somebody had to challenge in their minds Ohio State and Oregon in this conference. It wasn't going to be Washington. They were rebuilding. Yeah. It wasn't going to be Michigan. They went into a rebuild. Absolutely. It was Penn State. You're the it team. You're the one that people weren't talking about before this year as a top 10 team.
100%.
You were outside the top 10 in my mind, and like you said, they made those changes. So,
and also, this is the game that Drew Aller was recruited for. Drew Aller was a huge recruit a couple years ago, coming into Penn State, coming out of high school. Penn State was looking for a guy to be a big-time threat at this position. We've seen their quarterbacks come through over the last couple years and been good. They've had amazing weaponry around those guys. A lot of those guys now are in the NFL. But if you're Drew Aller, this was the game that you were brought to Happy Valley to win. And on the flip side of that, for Will Howard, this is your chance for you to reassure Buckeye Nation why Coach Day wanted you and wanted to go away from Kyle McCord. So both these quarterbacks, and we heard from Will, he's fired up about this. It seems personal to him. But on the flip side of that, if Drew Aller does play, he's got to show their fan base why James Franklin and all these recruiting networks and websites and all that stuff had me as one of the top guys in my class.
Absolutely. And that's if he goes. And if he doesn't go and they've got to go to their backup quarterback in Pribula, then all of a sudden things change a little bit there. So I just keep coming back to that these are the kind of games that Ohio State has won in the past. They're 9-1 against Franklin. I know they got him that one time, and they're the favorite going in. They may be facing a backup quarterback, and this is the one that they need to get to kind of swing the narrative back to the national title contender. Both teams really need. That's why I love this game so much. I'm not discounting the top five. They're ranked that way. Of course it is. To me, it's weird. I'm almost removing the numbers. It's got a little throw out the records kind of feel to me, because both teams have different kind of things to prove to themselves and each other. All right. If this is the time of year that you need a new ride, you have to take advantage of the happy Honda days that are going on over at Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. Rich is telling me 1.90 APR up to 60 months on most of the new 24s and 25 Hondas. He'll give you the details on that. 1.99 APR up to 36 months on the Honda True Certified, the ones that are 2019 to 2024, the Civics, the HRVs, the CRVs. He's going to give you an extra $1,000 for your trade. They'll go through it with you. It's a great process with my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Just go there, see the difference for yourselves, find out why they are the Honda dealership here in Central Ohio. Germain Honda of Dublin. All right, when we come back, Brady's going to shift. I'm not sure, maybe the top of the hour.
Okay.
Because he is still
I think we just got a thumbs up.
So he's still breaking down the Lions and the Buckeyes with him over there. Production meetings, all that
Absolutely.
stuff.
It's a big game. It's a big game. We got
loading the T-shirt can and all that.
We got some stuff going on in Cincinnati.
So there's a Bengals rookie that needs to back up his talk. And I'm not the one saying it. A veteran is. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture an oil change that's quick, not rushed. When you hear the bell, feel yourself becoming light as a feather. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today. No automotive worry, no appointment needed.
Join us Monday for a Mad About Hoops season tip-off special. Catch Timmy Hall, Evil Bald Colin, and special guests as they preview the Buckeyes basketball season and the matchup with Texas. The Mad About Hoops special, Monday at 8 p.m. on The Fan.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start. Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude. Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen. To draft an agent for your team, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Attention football fans, the season's heating up, and that means it's time for jaw-dropping plays, spectacular touchdowns, and memories that'll last a lifetime. So if you're looking to grab the best seats for all the excitement, Vivid Seats is your go-to playmaker. With an incredible selection of tickets and a game-changing rewards program, Vivid Seats is your ticket to every thrilling moment. Don't miss out. Experience it live with Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The perfect ratio of sports talk, dogs, pro wrestling, and gambling advice.
It's science.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, we'll have Brady Quinn top of the hour from Happy Valley, and it'll be really good timing. Because he'll be out of the production meetings. We get to find out what they were talking about.
Yeah. Who's playing quarterback, Brady?
Hitting up on Big Noon Kickoff. Exactly.
He probably didn't get that answer. If you are someone that is going to miss Brady, do not fret. Because wherever you get your podcasts, just type in Rothman and Ice. You'll be able to hear that interview and everything we do from noon to 3. Subscribe to the Rothman and Ice podcast as well. So if you're leaving lunch or you got to go back into the office and you're going to miss Brady at 1 o'clock.
Go back to work.
Just go back and listen to the podcast again. Type in Rothman and Ice wherever you get your podcast, and you'll be able to hear that. And also, too, when you get back to your desk and hop out of the car, fire up YouTube and just watch the show. We'll be with you all afternoon.
Yeah, or just blow it off, whatever work you had going on this afternoon. It is Friday.
We got some good YouTube comments going on today, too.
Is that good in air quotes or good like?
Just some good stuff.
Okay.
They're saying that you're spicy.
Compelling stuff.
Rothman's on it, and then some Ryan Day stuff from...
So what you're saying, it's
spicy today?
A little heat, a little sweet?
Okay.
I mean, must be.
Okay.
Damn, a little spicy today?
By the way, I was watching the original Halloween last night on Halloween. I was watching the original Halloween movie. And obviously it's very old, but it's such a classic. And it's obviously really, really good. And the whole Michael Myers thing has been, for decades now. What I, now as an adult watching it, I'm going to ask you, if Michael Myers was the boogeyman and he couldn't really be technically killed with a gun or anything, because obviously in the first movie, Loomis shoots him over the balcony and then he's gone. Unless he was wearing a bulletproof vest. I don't know. But if he was such a, quote, psycho in a way, and he was just like a Terminator mindset of coming back to kill his sister, why was he playing coy so much during the day? Like, why would he care so much?
I don't know.
Yeah, like it was hiding behind hedges, showing up in the backyard, trying to scare. Like, why?
You're asking the wrong guy. I can't watch any scary movies. I'm so happy that Halloween is over.
You've never watched a scary movie?
I haven't watched a scary movie since The Sixth Sense. And that was obviously years and years ago.
And I don't even know if that's truly scary or just kind of...
At the time, I was a young lad, though. You got to remember, when that came out, it was young Matty Ice. And so that scarred me. So, no, I do not do scary movies at all. So I'm the wrong guy to ask.
Just, I need a little advice on that. It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's one of my favorites, if not the favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering why he was able to just really compartmentalize. I got to do all of this at night, but during the day, I'm just going to go out there and kind of do the old mind tricks.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's quite savvy in his own regard. I do have a little update on Cincinnati football, and that Orlando Brown and T. Higgins will be doubtful for Sunday.
Okay.
That means Geno Stone is probably going to go. Charlie Jones is probably a we'll see. Sam Hubbard's going to play. Amarius Mims is good to go. But it looks like T. Higgins is doubtful against the Raiders, Matty, with that quad injury. So that would be a second straight.
I saw some tweets yesterday from some Bengal fans. Then they're leaning into this guy, possibly putting his personal interest before the team. We don't know what's going on in his mind. I don't think it would be anything that shocked any of us if that were the case, based off of this guy looking down the barrel at generational money at the end of this season and getting paid from someone. But
well, he's getting paid generational money now.
I guess as far as a long-term contract goes, you're right, I guess, for the 1 year. But we know how these guys feel about that 3-4 year security. So that's what he's looking at. And so you're going to have some of these young wide receivers potentially step up. And apparently there's one young wide receiver that is not too happy down there.
Jermaine Demetrius Burton, the rookie, and out of
Bama.
He went to Georgia, then Bama.
Old Tide, SEC guy.
He transferred within the SEC?
Yeah, he was one of those
I think
guys.
so.
Yeah.
All right, so the usage that's going to happen, and believe me, he's got an uptick going on now. And with no Higgins, this is a chance. So he's ready to maybe make the most of his increased playoff time, or his playing time. But he was asked about kind of the way this season has played out for him.
Do you have any regrets about the way that the first couple of months of the season has gone, in terms of you figured out now that maybe you wish you would have done something earlier to be able to get yourself on the field more earlier in the season?
I can't put myself in the game. So, I feel like I could have been made plays.
That's pretty interesting stuff, that I can't put myself into the game. This is probably not anything you really want to say when a team is struggling to just kind of stay afloat. Usually the stock answer would be, when I get my chance, I hope to make the most of it. And, I mean, even Burrow was suggesting that Burton was a player with a lot of upside, and the stuff he's put on tape kind of warrants more playing time for him. So he's kind of going to bat for him, because he played great last week against the Eagles. He really did. I thought he made a pretty decent step here. But
what was his line last week? Remind me that. What did Burton do last week?
Let me give you his line. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Well, you look that up because one of his teammates and one of his brothers in the wide receiver room, Jamar Chase, was asked about what we just heard from Jermaine Burton, and here's what Chase had to say.
Knows what he's doing 100% with confidence, and knowing other positions, I think he'll be even more of a game changer.
So there's more that he's got to do.
He only had the 41-yard catch.
Okay,
I guess from Burrow's standpoint, he probably just had a bigger impact than just making the catch.
That's making an impact, though, for a rookie. I expected more from him, but also when you look at the guys that started ahead of him as far as experience within that offense, and Andre Yoshi Voss, and then you infuse a veteran tight end and Mike Gesicki, who we've seen pop off a few times throughout the year. He's going to be behind the 8 ball just a little bit. But now, if you're Jermaine Burton, you also don't want to be throwing things out there like this publicly, because it seems a bit selfish. It does when you hear that. Even though in his heart it may be genuine wanting to contribute, you just never want to be the, hey, I should be playing more, get me the ball type of vibe guy. And that's when you hear that stuff and you read those quotes, that's where people's minds can go.
Yeah, and this is a little bit on brand for him. He was certainly a guy that when they drafted him, they were taking a chance. There were some character things, and I'm not putting this in that category, but it does kind of follow the brand of normal rookies like that on a team that's desperate right now. Would have been, when my number's called, I'm going to go play the game. There's nothing I really would have done. If there was anything I would have done, maybe just keep my eyes on, everything with the vets and learn everything I can. But now the problem is with Orlando Brown Jr., battling that leg injury ahead of a game against Max Crosby, who's,
amazing.
Top 10 and winning pass rate. So
he's really good.
Yeah.
And this offense, too, they got to find a way to find more of a spark here, because we're talking 2 of the last 3 games. Joey B in that offensive unit, they've only scored 17 points.
Chase Brown, man, where is he?
I'd give him the rock more. I'd give him the rock more. He looks pretty good. Hey, real quick, I want to let you know you can join us Tuesday, November 12th for the Make a Difference Gala at High Bank Distillery in Grandview. It's bourbon, food, and fun with Brady Quinn, our guy, Bobby Carpenter, Jake Ballard, Dane Sanzenbacher, and Bo Bishop. The gala benefits the Third and Goal Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Get your tickets today at 971thefan.com. 21 or older, please drink responsibly.
All right, we'll come back with overs and unders next. And, Maddie, I do have an update on Drew Aller.
Okay.
We'll find out if you're buying it. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
I'm Leslie from Pella, Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
At Pella, we're really proud of our hideaway hardware technology.
Oh, yeah, that's the super duper fancy stuff where the handles fold all sleek like into the windows.
That's right. Do you guys have hideaway hardware at your window place, Wilson?
Do we have hideaway hardware? Oh. No, we don't.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rated #1 for improving the look of their homes at PellaColumbus.com.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at DewOutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
The blood battle is back, and the Buckeyes are the defending 2-time champions. Donate blood at Adversity Blood Drive by November 27th to help Ohio State beat Michigan again. Sign up at adversity.org/blood battle. Buckeyes bleed scarlet and gray.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here. The Fan and High Bank Distillery have partnered to release 3 exclusive whiskey barrel picks, which you can try out with me on Tuesday, November 12th at High Bank in Grandview. Tickets benefit the Third and Goal Foundation, helping veterans and their families.
Trust Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code Columbus now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust and Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play, like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when tended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
Saturday is game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Riker Chevy.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Rothman and Ice presents overs and unders.
All right, Bake, before you get to that, Peter Nakos, he's a college sports business and transfer portal reporter for On3. He tweeted out that Drew Aller is expected to play Saturday against Ohio State. Okay. It's a little general, but there's nothing that really says he's been able to practice or he hasn't or this or that. He's expected to play, but he says, I've also heard sources that Aller's expected to play. Media does not see contact or live periods during a typical midweek viewing window, but he was seen doing basic throwing and jogging this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a little detail there.
Oh, no, thanks for that, because I think on the Ohio State side of things, they're prepared for both. Whether it's Bo Pribula, whether it's Drew Aller, they've been preparing for both. Mm-hmm. And from James Franklin's perspective, that's exactly what you wanted Ohio State to do. More on their plate, more on the sheets that they have to study for their players, and we shall see how Ohio State handles it.
It may be leaning that he's playing, but I'm going to take him now at his word that this may be more of a game-time decision based on warm-up, how he's moving, and all of that. So, still up in the air.
Real quick, I did mention that we're giving away AEW Collision tickets, a pair of those, live at Nationwide Arena Saturday, December 7th. We will give those away right around 2:10 today, so stick with us. Go ahead, Bake. What do you got cooking, big dog?
All right, guys, you were talking about the Penn State quarterback, Drew Aller. We heard from Ohio State quarterback Will Howard earlier talking about how this is a big game for him personally. So over under 1.5 touchdown passes this Saturday for Will.
They're going to need it. They're going to need it, and I'm going to lean into it. I'm leaning into his quote about let's see if I'm good enough. Now, he could run one in and throw one. He could. But here's what I'm going to say. There's only one time this season he hasn't done this. Yep. And ironically, it was in the blood against Western Mish. And when you go look at some of the quarterbacks that have thrown for at least 2 against Penn State, Miller Moss had 2 for USC in that high-scoring game. Connor Bazelak had 2 in the BG game that James Franklin talked about. So I think the lean here is certainly to 2 touchdown passes for Will Howard in this game, despite it kind of leaning to be a lower-scoring game. And here's the other thing, and this is the real part of it. How much can they really lean on this running game
Yeah.
Unless somebody breaks a tackle or something, we do get a home run in this game. Now, I'm not saying Ohio State can't get inside the 5, but then if they do, are they going to be able to punch it in, or does he have to run it in or play action? I think there's just going to be so much on his plate Saturday. I'm going to lean over 1.5 TD passes.
He's got the playmakers, that being Will, that those guys can cook and score in the blink of an eye. When you look at Emeka, when you look at Jeremiah, both those guys have touchdowns north of 65 yards. Last week, we saw Carnell Tate pop off. I think he will be involved in this. So the quick strike ability, the ability to get the ball to his guys quickly in space, and for a guy like Jeremiah down in the red zone to get up and body guys, I think gives him more comfort to throw those 50-50 balls, which I think will lead to the over in this.
All right, guys. Columbus Blue Jackets, they've got a big one tonight against the best team in the NHL so far, the Winnipeg Jets. The CBJ are averaging 3.89 goals a game so far, over under 3.5 for the Jackets tonight.
Say that stat again for the Jackets. I like when you said that.
3.89 goals a game so far.
Cooking, absolutely cooking. We've got 6 guys with at least 3 goals so far this year. But you mentioned Winnipeg, and they're nasty. They are nasty.
You said, but we are too when I brought that up.
We are too, but I got to give some respect to Winnipeg and what they're doing right now. 4th in the league in save percentage.
Connor Hellebuck's pretty good.
He can go.
Is he starting?
I don't know.
But you know what, Bake? I don't care. Give me the over for our Jackets, baby. Let's go.
My, he really blindsided me with that one.
Just planted the flag there, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm all in.
Hellebuck's first in wins. If he's starting, and I'm going to go on they're not coming in on a back-to-back.
Roll with me.
No, I'm not.
Come on.
Why? They can still win they can still score 3 and win.
We got firepower.
Only one time this season has that man given up 3 or more, and that was to Toronto.
Has he played the Columbus Blue Jackets yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to take the under on 3.5.
We got the Browns-Chargers this Sunday. The over-under on Bet365 is 42.5 points for this one, over-under.
Do some quick math. The Chargers average 19 a game. Browns average about 17 a game. That's 36. That technically is under 42.5. Yeah. But feels like that's such a low number in any pro football game, and Jameis is going to want to throw it around a little bit. All right, I'm not going to second-guess myself like I usually do. I'll take the under on 42.
Yeah, this is tough.
So 42.5 or 42?
42.5.
40, yeah, under.
No Jeremiah Wusu-Koromo for the Brownies is concerning.
Right. Denzel.
That is very concerning. And then the Denzel question mark, as you just laid out, is a big deal. It's a big deal. Oh, man, this is a good number, Bake. I'm going to go with the over on this, but I don't feel good about it at all. I'm all overs right now. That's a problem.
The Bengals taking on the Raiders this week, and as you guys said, no T. Higgins. Jamar Chase, over under 82.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another over here. I just think with T. Higgins out, he's going to have himself a day. We know he's got big playmaking ability as one of the best receivers in the league, so I'm going over.
Yeah, it's just options here and where they are. It feels like he's obviously the number one option, and when you go to, and I'm going to quickly just bring up where the Raiders are actually defensively a top 10 team against the pass. 189 yards a game. It kind of surprises me.
Impressive.
And they did hang with Kansas City, did they not?
They did. Oh, that was a grind of a game.
82.5 to Chase. All right, to be different, I'll take the slight under.
I think the game of the week in the NFL, the Lions and the Packers, the over-under on this one is 48 points. The Lions went over that by themselves last week. What do you got, over or under?
Well, I'm going to make the assumption that Love's going to go. That's a big part of this. If it's Willis, this comes way down for me. Mm-hmm. Now, how effective Love will be, I don't know. Goff may be slowed a little bit. Weather, we saw them practicing yesterday. It looked a little sleety.
It did.
Up there in Lambeau.
Snow globe up there.
I'm afraid we're on the wrong side of this, too. I think we took the Lions and laid the 3, both of us.
I still feel good about
Willis,
that.
Yeah. I'm going to take the under on 48. 48.5, you said?
It's dead on 48.
I'm still going to take the under.
Yeah, I'm rolling with you on that. Malik Willis plays, regardless of that, the Lions have the ability to slow games down, being one of the best rushing teams in the league. They're 6th in the league in rushing yards per game. Give me the under.
Man, we have had some...
Real quickly, Denzel did return to practice today.
Okay.
Just got the update.
Good news.
We've had some absolutely gorgeous weather here in the month of October for the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
Going to get a little chillier, though, for this weekend. Highest temperature this weekend, under 66 and a half.
Going under.
I haven't peaked.
Are
So
you
I'm gonna
peaking
take-
currently? Because I need you to help me with this, because I have no idea.
Am I allowed? We usually do this on feel alone, don't we?
This is your barbecue.
We
Just eating at it.
usually do this on feel alone, but since the substitute teacher is here and he's allowed us to have a little bit of leeway, I will take a peek. What did you say it was? 66 and a half?
66 and a half.
And you went over?
I went under.
The experts say you should change
I don't
to
care
the
about
over.
the experts. They're wrong all the time in weather.
That's true. Very true. And they're allowed to stick around. But we're wrong a lot on our picks, and we're allowed to stick around.
That's a good point.
68, it says on Sunday, if I'm reading this correctly, if I'm in the right Columbus. All right, I'm going to take the over on the weather. We come back after a Sports Center update, and we visit with Brady Quinn, hopefully fresh out of the production meeting on the big one. We'll break it down with him next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The Fan is live and local with morning juice, caffeinate, and dominate.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited truck month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Post Malone is teaming up with Raising Cane's to empower the next generation of artists. For a limited time, 2 exclusive double-sided Post Malone posters are available at Raising Cane's. So post up your combo at Cane's while supplies last and support a good cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver. Leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Gear up for game day with GNC. Just like your favorite college team prepares for their matchup each week, you can get ready to crush your fitness goals with GNC. Your coaches are in stores, ready to help you build muscle like a linebacker or slim down after a tough season. They have everything you need, including all the top brands, the new flavors you crave, the hottest protein, pre-workouts, creatine, and more to tackle your fitness goals. Don't wait for the final whistle. Fuel your fitness at GNC. Visit your local GNC or GNC.com today.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Timmy Hall. It's as big as a regular season game can get in today's college football. Ohio State is at Penn State tomorrow at noon, looking to grab a key victory. It's the 32nd straight year the Bucks and the Nittany Lions have met on the football field every year since Penn State joined the Big Ten in '93. It's not going to happen every year going forward, as it's not a protected rivalry. NHL, the Jackets looking to stay hot. Their point streak is at 4 games. It'll be tough. They play the 9-1 Winnipeg Jets at 7 here on the Fan. Dmitry Voronkov, he's healthy. He's in the lineup tonight to make his season debut. Elvis is in net again. NFL action Sunday. Bengals host the Raiders at 1. Browns host the Chargers. That coverage here on the Fan at 11 a.m. Other 1 o'clock games. Cowboys at the Falcons. Commanders at the Giants. Ravens host the Broncos. This one's sponsored by Roosters. They're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences, tickets, sideline passes, a trip to a postseason game, and more. Go to roosterswings.com.
Are you working? Because we barely are. It's Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football and quiet quitting. The Fan. It's time for In the Pocket with Brady Quinn, a Dublin native, former Notre Dame quarterback, Browns first-round pick, star of Fox's Big Noon Kickoff, and most importantly, a very handsome man.
He is the man. He's our guy, Brady Quinn. Big Noon Kickoff, Happy Valley, Fox Sports. My friend, it's good to have you. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Ready for tomorrow's matchup. Yeah. Obviously, one of the biggest games in the college football season. So excited about all that. But obviously, a lot of storylines headed into this one.
Let me take you back, and you can check my memory on this. I think you lit them up when you were playing at Notre Dame, but I don't think you ever had the chance to play there. Did you?
That's correct. Lit them up my senior year, honestly, which was a little bit worse, a little rusty early in that season, but always wanted to go play here. And honestly, covering games here, getting the chance to be in the stadium, it is quite possibly one of the best, if not the best environment I think that you could ask for just when you fly in here to Happy Valley, kind of over the Nittany mountain range. And just, especially this time of year, how beautiful it is, and you get into campus and you're kind of all stuck here together. It is one of the coolest atmospheres you can even ask for.
Brady, I want to start with Ohio State and specifically up front in this offensive line situation that they're going through. And it sounds like Donovan Jackson is going to shift from left guard to left tackle. With your experience playing the most important position, when you're going through a transition like this on the fly, what do you think Ohio State can do? How can they generate good offense behind what may be a dicey offensive line tomorrow afternoon?
Well, there's so many things to take into consideration when you're moving a guy from inside to outside. The easiest way I kind of describe it to people is you go from fighting in a phone booth when you play guard or center to then being more like in a boxing ring where you're out in space when you play tackle. And so adjusting to that in both the run blocking scheme and pass pro, because, you know, when you're in the interior, everyone's up on you a lot quicker. And so your footwork and your hand placement, all that's different, even your leverage points. Then when you're on the outside of tackle, very different as well. Again, more space to operate. Your footwork you have to be very careful because those guys are getting a lot of momentum and speed coming off the edge when they're hitting you. So your hand placement is very important there too. So just that dynamic for Donovan Jackson is tough. Then you start to build in the fact of who they're going against. I mean, these are two of the better edge rushers in Abdul Carter and Denai Dennis Sutton, if he is indeed to play. He's somewhat questionable coming in this one, but the personnel they're going against is going to be extremely tough. And you combine that with the standpoint of the noise and how loud it is and trying to communicate all those calls and the different blocking assignments as opposed to playing on the interior versus the outside. All those things make it incredibly difficult of a transition. Now, I think Donovan Jackson is up for it. The real question becomes then, how does the interior of the offensive line play? Whether it's Montgomery, who we saw come in last week, or whether it's a Sierreveld who may be in there as well. Not sure at this point which one it will be, but whoever it is, are they going to be up to the task and challenge of really what this Penn State defensive front has brought. Can they get up to speed with the communication that's necessary and prepare for all the things those guys face? All the stunts in games where you got to be on the same level as the guy next to you to ensure there's good protection, or the communication as the defensive front moves as to who you're going after in the run blocking scheme. So there's a lot of things to take into account. It's a huge challenge for the Ohio State offensive line.
Brady Quinn with us every Friday. He is the man, the analyst for Big Noon Kickoff, Ohio State at Penn State. All right, do you have any insight on Drew Aller, the effectiveness that you expect if they have to go to Pribula, how that changes things for them? Do you expect him to play? And if you do, how big of a factor will he be?
Well, from all reports, Drew Aller has been practicing all week. It's my expectation that he's going to start this game. He will play, and I don't think he'll be limited in any way. I think if you see Bo Pribula for Penn State, it'll be in the similar vein of the packages that we've seen. And remember, offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki, he comes from Kansas. He had a couple of dynamic quarterbacks there in Daniels and Bean, and he used to put those guys in at the same time on various plays. So not only will you definitely see both tomorrow, you might see both in the game at the same time. You might even see their tight end, Tyler Warren, who they've moved around in all sorts of places this season. When he plays tight end, he plays running back, he'll play wildcat quarterback, he'll play out as a wide receiver. He'll even snap the ball and caught a touchdown pass most recently. So he might be at center at some point. You got to be ready for everything when Andy Kotelnicki is the offensive coordinator. And that's the challenge, I think, for the Ohio State defense, are all the things that Penn State has shown, but yet some of the things they have not shown that they're going to surprise Ohio State with tomorrow.
Brady, with where both these teams are right now, clearly they're looking down the line and saying, we got a shot to win it all. But I just want to zoom out from the teams and look at both coaches in this scenario. You've heard the narratives about both in big games, specifically for James Franklin against the Ohio States in Michigan. Ryan Day, James Franklin, at this point in time, is there a coach in your mind that needs this more than the other?
It's funny you say that. It's such a good question because I think because of how recent years have gone for Ryan Day and the inability to beat a team like Michigan, there's just so much mounting pressure that a game like this with Michigan at the end of the season kind of looming too, it becomes that much more important that they win, maybe even handily, even after last week's game, which is obviously as a almost 26-point favorite and kind of having to have a fourth quarter comeback in order to get the win. I think there's some concern, and rightfully so with the talented of a roster this is. So, from that standpoint, I think you look at Ryan Day and say, yeah, he needs it maybe a little bit more than James Franklin, where I feel like Penn State feels like it's somewhat comfortable with where they're at, despite the fact that he's only got one top 5 win in his entire year as a head coach, not just at Penn State, but his career. He's only beat Ohio State once. That's that 2016 game with obviously the blocked field goal. So, you can make the case that James Franklin needs it more so than Ryan Day. But I think if we're talking about the big picture of the Big Ten slate and who it matters more to, I don't know that Ohio State can afford to have another loss and obviously have a shot at playing for the Big Ten championship. So that would go out the window. Penn State, they could drop this one, still be in contention, not only for the Big Ten potentially, but even just the college football playoff in that regard. So I think it matters probably more for Ryan Day, at least in the short term. But for the legacy of James Franklin, again, one top 5 win in his career as a head coach dating back to his time at Vandy, and then even just one win versus Ohio State. If they win tomorrow, it guarantees them a playoff spot, in my opinion, assuming they don't stumble in the rest of the regular season, even with a loss in the Big Ten championship game. And that's something they've never accomplished. He's the winningest coach in college football during the playoff era to not have made it in. And I think with a win tomorrow, they would be assured of a spot in the playoff.
Yeah, he didn't even get in when he beat Ohio State. He beat him head to head, and then the other stuff dragged him down. If Ohio State has to not abandon the run game, but be pass heavy on Saturday afternoon, does Penn State have the guys to cover their guys? Does the Kimber or A.J. Harris or that back end? How confident are you in Penn State's defense at the back end if Ohio State starts throwing the ball around?
Honestly, that's probably the weakest part of this defense. That's not to say by any means that it's a weak portion of the defense or it makes the defense weak in any way. It's just if that's the group you're going to say there's the most decisive mismatch, that's where it's at for Ohio State's offense versus the Penn State defense. And I think Penn State will do all they can to provide those cornerbacks help, not get stuck in man-to-man coverage too often because they know they can't match up in that regard, but not even allow, there to be those opportunities to be one-on-one. Try as much to protect him with the safeties if you can, and try to get to Will Howard and not allow, them to be able to just sit back there and wait for Jeremiah Smith or Emeka Ibuka or Colonel Tate to get open. So that's got to be the concern for Tom Allen, the defensive coordinator at Penn State, and really, how they match up and how they have to find a way of getting to Will Howard before we get the ball out of his hand.
Brady, outside of this one, looking around the country or maybe within the Big Ten for you, what's something you're going to be keeping your eye on? Team, player, coach, tomorrow afternoon going into the evening?
It's an ACC matchup. It's really the matchup between Pitt and SMU. It's a huge one that I don't know that anyone foresaw coming into this season. It's kind of still weird to say SMU is an ACC team, but here we are in 2024 college football. But just the season that they're having, but more so Pitt. I mean, Pitt's undefeated. I don't know how many people have watched them this season. It's a really neat story, too, of a very, I guess, kind of stuck in his ways type coach in Pat Narduzzi, who's known for his defensive acumen. But this offseason, really, as far as how they, changed over their thought or process of NIL and handling their roster and how they went about doing that. And then even offensively, bringing in Cade Bell's taking over the offense, it's a stark change from what they're doing in the past. I mean, this team is a high-tempo, high-powered offense with Eli Holstein, who may be playing and starting in this game. They're going to need him. He's been as phenomenal as a freshman this year for my quarterback. But this is a team that literally is blowing teams out, putting big numbers up on the scoreboard, which is not the type of game you typically get from a Pat Narduzzi team. It was like a knockdown, drag-out, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type game. That's not what this team is. And it's going to be interesting to see, how that plays out versus a team like SMU, who also can put up a bunch of points. So that's one huge matchup in the ACC, but one in which we could see an undefeated team get knocked off, or we could see this be a resume builder for a Pitt team that maybe, finding its way potentially in that college football playoff conversation.
Brady Quinn with us. All right, what's that like when Big Noon and Game Day collide on the same campus? You guys run into each other. We have an anchorman fight scheduled for later. How does that work?
That's right. Yeah, it's very similar to, I believe it was Anchorman 2, when you get all the networks kind of coming in there. I'm not sure. I think Bruce Feldman is actually the guy like Steve Carell, just holding the grenade in his hand.
That's right.
And not really sure what to do with it, but he's pulled the pin, but he's grabbing it. He's just waiting for him to disperse out his hand at some point. But, we don't see them very often. You do it time to time, run into one another. And there's obviously some folks who have worked at one or the other before. So, it's more friendly than you think. However, there is still that sense of competitiveness. And I know I'm sure I'm around them. So that's more my way of looking at it. Leinert's that one stuff they rose from California, so he tends to be really friendly to everyone, but I'm a bit more prickly with the competition.
Hey, man, it's game day for you guys, and I didn't mean that by game day. I meant that it's your time at Big Noon Kickoff, so very cool. Did you think you got enough? You get to meet with the coaches, right? Did you meet with them already?
Yeah, we spoke with them already, so we're going through our production meeting, rehearsals, et cetera.
You got what kind of feel did you get from Franklin and Day? Was it kind of coach speak, or did you sense anything?
No, there's a lot of intensity. I mean, more kind of, let's just get to the game.
Okay. No, I get it.
To you guys. We're going to go play the game.
Yeah, I get it, my friend. Enjoy it, bud. We can't wait. We'll be watching. Thanks for the time, as always.
You guys as well. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Brady Quinn with us on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. That is a damn good breakdown. We come back. Who goes into the pressure cooker? Find out next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
My furnace just went out.
Ma'am, have no fear. Dormar is here. We can get that furnace fixed fast.
Dormar, you guys are the best.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The blood battle is back, and the Buckeyes are the defending two-time champions. Donate blood at Adversity Blood Drive by November 27th to help Ohio State beat Michigan again. Sign up at adversity.org/blood battle. Buckeyes bleed scarlet and gray.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese.
Lunch is ready.
He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe and a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Find an agent at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
The Christmas cash giveaways now at UDF. With UDrive Plus, 1 in 7 can play to win prizes instantly, including $1,000 weekly by buying specially marked items at UDF. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
Reichert Chevy's dealing in Dublin.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Shop hundreds of vehicles at ReichertChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. We're dealing.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Much colder air is on the way for today. High pressure will deliver a lot of sunshine today and tomorrow. 60 is your daytime high today. 62 is your high tomorrow afternoon. But as we go into tonight, we're going to be looking at a cold north wind. And in fact, it might be cold enough to have a frost tomorrow morning. I'm thinking nighttime lows tonight dip down to around 37. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Under Pressure.
Sponsored by United Dairy Farmers.
That's right. Pressure puts people on streets, Matty. You got to lead off?
I'm ready to go.
All right.
I'm ready to go. I'm starting in the NFL. How does 5 years, $275 million sound? Sounds like your first contract you signed here at the Fan, doesn't it?
Take the M off.
Well, that's exactly the contract that one Trevor Lawrence signed this offseason. Trevor Lawrence is on the pressure list this week. The Jaguars have lost 2 of their last 3. He's now going to be without Christian Kirk for the entire season. This is a team now that is 2-6. And when you get paid that type of money, the perception may not be reality, but the perception is what it is. And you are now being paid to overcome situations like this. They brought in Gabe Davis. They drafted Brian Thomas Jr., who's been an absolute stud for them. So there's still some good weaponry around you. You got Tank Bigsby, who is good. Travis Etienne will be back eventually. I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence this week in a game against another highly paid quarterback in Jalen Hurts, hosting now the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Trevor Lawrence on the road. His team needs this or their season is probably over. You've got the second highest paid contract in all of sports when it comes to quarterback salaries. Trevor Lawrence, he's on the pressure list this week.
I like that one. All right, so the World Series is over. So Brian Cashman and the New York Yankees not only feel the pressure of losing the World Series, but now that's done. The pressure on the Yankees after sending an absolute haul to the Padres for Soto to rent him for a year to win it all. If you can't re-sign him, I guess it's not the end of the world because he's going to go for the biggest amount possible, which they certainly could try to pony up to. But if you lose him from the Bronx to Queens, that would be insane. And that's the pressure specifically I'm putting on them. I'm probably not putting on them losing him to the Giants. Yes, the Dodger pressure would be horrible. But if you lose him cross town, I know it's AL, NL, but if you lose him 15 miles away or a 7 train to Flushing, that's exactly where I was going. Like, usually the Yankees could outbid anyone.
Yeah.
And I think the Mets are going to make Soto their centerpiece of their offseason strategy here. And if they have the willingness to outspend anybody, which they probably do, I think that would really add insult to injury to the Yankees. And so I'm going to put pressure on them. And how much they have committed, who knows, or where they're willing to go, I don't know. But the Mets are not this little, I'm only going for the money. Because if he goes to the Mets, they're a fun, loose, win-now kind of team. And I think the pressure there to perform would be there. Nothing like probably with the Yankees, but I think that's the number one pressure I'm going to put on the Yankees GM Brian Cashman on his to-do list is to find a way to bring back Juan Soto.
I like it. And Juan Soto's built for New York, so he ain't going to run from the Mets, and he's not going to run from the
I think the Yankees are the favorite, but I think the Mets are certainly in the top 3 for me.
Where are my Reds in that?
I don't know.
Nowhere. That's what you should have said.
Well, they're in. They're in quote the field. Like if I gave you I gave you the Yanks.
You're being nice.
The Dodgers. I could give you the Phillies, the Giants.
Bacon. I know
maybe the Jays. Yeah. I could do.
Bacon. I know you don't even get your hopes up for guys like this as a Reds fan.
You guys don't have $500 million burning a hole in your pocket for a 26-year-old superstar.
It ain't happening. It's sad, but it ain't happening.
We do. It's for Ellie De La Cruz, though.
Who you want to trade after next year?
Well, because I know they won't sign him long.
Maddie, instead of print the shirts, maybe they should be printing the cash.
I wish.
Like in a back room somewhere.
Nice. Well, it'd be nice. Second candidate for me. I'm going to the National Basketball Association. And I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis and the Bucks. It's not good. It is not good right now.
Fear the deer?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's fearing them right now, AR. They went into Memphis last night. You're taking on Ja Morant without 2 of his starters, and you get a $122 hung on your head. Giannis scores 37 and 11 rebounds and only misses 5 shots, and you weren't even in this game at all. The Bucks are now 1-4. Their defense is absolutely atrocious. 26th in the NBA in points allowed right now through a handful of games. The body language is bad. Dame and Giannis aren't on the same page at all. Chris Middleton is not saving this. He's not saving this. So Doc Rivers and the Milwaukee Bucks, you are absolutely on the pressure list. You're supposed to be one of the contenders around the sport, and you're just not getting it done. And guess who they got to deal with tomorrow?
Who that?
The Cleveland Cavaliers. The number 1 seeded Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference at 5-0, and they will be 6-0 after tonight when they beat the Magic. The Milwaukee Bucks, you're on the pressure list.
All right. I'm going to the ice quickly, and I'm putting it on the Boston Bruins. So the Bees' identity, as we know for a while, has been defense for sure. And what I mean by for sure is not so much. Last night, they got cracked 8-2 by Carolina. But more importantly, that's an L in 4 of their last 5. Swayman it was everybody's net. And where's the production from Elias Lindholm? The new, top centerman for them. He and Pasta were supposed to be magical together. He has 1 point in his last 8 games. And you know where that got him, Matty? A one-way ticket off my fantasy squad. Now, he cleared waivers, so I'm still tracking him to see if he wants to earn his way back onto the team. Yeah. But the Boston Bruins are incredibly difficult to play against, I thought. And I think they'll be tough if they get to the playoffs. But they're in last place in the Atlantic at 4-6-1. Okay. I know it's early, but it feels late. I'm putting it on the Bees.
I like it. Last one for me. I'm putting Jameis Winston on the pressure list. Jameis Winston, got to take care of the rock, bro. You got to do it. Last week, you tried to hand out goodies. Christmas isn't here yet. Santa Claus and his elves just reported for training camp last night. Jameis Winston, here you are. This whole offense is yours. You're playing the Chargers, a pretty good team right now. They're not terrifying. All you got to do is play a clean game of football. And I know that's easier said than done, specifically with the man that I'm talking about. It's a wild ride when he's playing quarterback, but you get to 3-6, then you're looking at a Saints team, then you got a divisional game after that against Pittsburgh. The conversation changes drastically here if Jameis Winston can play clean football within this Kevin Stefanski offense. So I'm looking at the new QB1 for the Brownies and putting him on the pressure list.
All right, finally for me, I'll go to the NFL. First place in the NFC West. I think the pressure's on the line. Rams at Seahawks. Sneaky good game. I'm putting it on the Seahawks D, Matty. That's what happens when you're not going against Bo Nix and Jacoby Brissett and Skylar Thompson. This is what can happen to you. Since becoming a Ram, Matt Stafford has owned them. And it's not like the Seahawks can control games either. They have the most passing yards, but the fewest rush attempts in the NFL. To say the Seahawks have been one-dimensional is an absolute understatement. The Seahawks are the 4th worst team in the NFL against the run, 150 a game. Buffalo rushed for 14 first downs last week on them. You know what the NFL average is? 7. Ooh. So they doubled that up. And here's the deal. The Rams have mojo right now. 2 wins out of their bye week. The deadly weapons are back, even though Puka, I guess, did tweak the knee in practice. But he's supposed to be okay or play. They don't think it's major. But Seattle's defense is giving up 356.5 yards a game. They've also allowed 22 touchdowns. Only 5 teams have allowed more. And now they're going up against the Rams in a pivotal divisional matchup. I'm putting it on the Hawks D.
Puka
in the nest.
Puka and Cooper Kupp can just not stay healthy. It's crazy.
That's why you got to think about trading Kupp.
I'm in.
But there's still so much there for them to play for. It's very difficult.
Yeah, they're alive.
All right, we're going to come back. College football, the weekend. We'll lay out the games and pick them against the number next. Rothman, Ice, and the Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
This is Ryan Krieger, and at Krieger Ford, we know life's busy. Let us handle your car care. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or have our technicians come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today, only at KriegerFord.com.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Break.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
There was a time where I woke up every day and my knee kept bothering me. I wondered, would it ever get better? I'd like to go out and run. I'd like to go play golf. I'd like to hang out with my friends at the pool, go off the diving board, play with my kids, do the stuff that I wanted to do. I looked at having surgery, thought that's not the answer. Don't want to do that. I've had plenty of surgeries in my life. I didn't want to be on medication and just keep pounding ibuprofen and pain pills. That wasn't going to be the answer. So I want to get real, lasting relief, as thousands of patients will tell you. So I went over to QC Kinetics and talked to Dr. Ray Tesner. I even brought my dad with me and said, hey, he's got a bad knee too. He's at a little later stage in life. Could this work for him? QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in cellular therapies, including your own body's healing properties. That's what I wanted, to get healed up and do it the natural way. The choice is yours. So go check them out at qckinetics.com/Columbus. They've got offices in Dublin and in Gahanna, or call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
College football picks with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Krieger Ford. Find your next Ford at Krieger Ford. Visit KriegerFord.com today.
All right, Bake, lay them out for us.
All right, guys, not a great week for you last week, Anthony, as you go 1-5.
That's not possible.
That's what it says. I don't believe Colin would lie to me.
The mental hedges, Maddie, are starting to backfire, I think.
Maddie, you were better at 3-3, so 22-25, AR, that's your record on the year. Maddie, you are 22-20. Let's start off in the SEC. Ole Miss is on the road at Arkansas, and Ole Miss is favored by 7.5.
You want to go first? You want me to?
You got it, big.
All right. I just don't like the way Ole Miss is. They just can't finish right now. They get in the red zone and they just shut down. Jackson Dart, who I loved before the season, he was efficient last week against Oklahoma. 2 weeks ago against LSU, I thought he was real hit and miss. Guys accounted for 3 touchdowns in 4 conference games. And Arkansas, it's a trap game for all, I feel. Like, they played A&M tough. They stunned Tennessee at home. Who knows whether Ole Miss has an eye on Georgia next week? Arkansas is going to a bye after this week. I don't like the way the Rebs can't cover right now. I know they're the better team, but I think I have to take the home dog at 7.5.
Yeah, the offensive numbers for Ole Miss can fool you. They can fool you when you look at them on the surface and you see number one in the SEC in total yards. But you brought up a great point, just their lack of efficiency and being able to finish. The one area of this game I am concerned about for Arkansas is can their offensive line hold up against Ole Miss? The Rebels lead that conference in sacks, but I don't trust them. I just don't trust Ole Miss either right now. So I'm going to take the 7.5 with you and roll with the Razorbacks.
Okay, guys, let's head to the Big Ten. This one is one where Vegas has you scratching your head a little bit. Minnesota's on the road at Illinois, and Illinois is a home underdog. The Gophers are favored by 3.
Those Gophers, 3 dubs in a row. They cooked Maryland last week. P.J. Fleck and his squad, they already have one ranked win this year, and I know at the time it was USC, and USC's gone the other way, but they have confidence that they can overcome teams that have a number attached to their name. Darius Garland's a heck of a running back for the Gophers, and I think that's where they can win this game. I like what Minnesota can do through the air, but I like Darius Taylor and what he does, averaging right around 5 a pop. So I'm going to lay the 3 and go with the Gophers.
Sky Yuma. Illinois they got hammered at Oregon. I thought they'd hang in a little bit. The Gophers took apart Maryland. I do think the Illini should at least be able to hang in there defensively. They can still run it. I told you about Max Brosmer before the year for the Minnesota quarterback, his first season in Mini. He's having a really nice one. 6 touchdowns, no picks during this 3-game winning streak. Their defense allowing only under 17 a game. The Illini kind of own them lately. They've won a few in this series. Them being a home underdog seems a little weird to me. So I think I have to take the points in Illinois in this one and maybe root for a very, very close game.
Staying in the Big Ten, this is the biggest spread we will pick this week. Oregon travels across country to Michigan, and the Ducks are laying 14.5.
Yeah, they're shifting back to Davis Warren at quarterback. Michigan is. That's not going to help them. I don't know where the juice is. Maybe it is from beating their rival last week in Michigan State. Ducks are cruising right now. I think the confidence is just dripping off of them. Like water off a duck's back, man.
Quack, quack.
Gabriel is really studly right now. I'm looking at his stats. Completing more than 84% of his passes that are just the little dink and dunks, like 10 yards or less, but they can move it. That's a big number on the road. I'm not going to deny that. But I just think they're going to be too much. I mean, maybe one of these teams gets them, but I'm still going to ride the wave of Oregon.
Michigan's already got 3 L's on the season, as we all know. The previous 3 seasons, their record has been 40-3. So their program is just going the wrong way. The biggest reason why it is because of the quarterback position. On the opposite side of this, you got Dylan Gabriel, who's thrown for at least 200+ and has at least 2 touchdowns in every game. Oregon impressed me coming out of the Ohio State game, going into Purdue, and not looking sleepy in that one. I think they can go into the big house and cover that. I'm going to lay the points.
Staying in the Big Ten, the undefeated Anthony Rothman's Indiana Hoosiers travel up to East Lansing to take on Sparty. They are 7.5-point favorites.
Curtis Rourke's going to play in this one. Sparty's got 7 straight losses to AP-ranked teams. Here's what's really impressive about Indiana. Their offense steps on your neck right out of the gate. They will light you up early. They're outscoring teams 87-0 in the first quarter this year. That's best in all of FBS football. Give me the Hoosiers. I'm laying them.
Rourke's going to go. And their defense has been really good. They don't give up big plays. They forced a lot of turnovers over the last 2 weeks, a ton of them. They're a little tiny trap here, knowing they get Michigan next week at home, but they've really proven to be a locked-in team. I just think the fear now, expectations, and the pressure is going way up now because you get this deep into an undefeated season, that's got to come along for the ride. The one thing you have to like is the road team usually dominates in this. That's what's happened in this series. But nothing's steering me off a good mental hedge.
Come on.
It can't.
You don't believe
I cannot
this.
change.
You don't believe this.
I cannot change.
They're easily 10 points better than Michigan State.
I know they are. Absolutely. But you know what happens when I do the wrong thing when it comes to the mental hedge.
You're really taking the points here?
Now, with Rourke back, I'll ride with the Hoosiers.
There we go, baby. There we go.
Hey, I was going to respect it. In offense, though, that steps on your neck right out of the gates, that must be nice.
They don't play around.
Let's head to the SEC. Texas A&M, they're on the road at South Carolina, and the Aggies are 3-point favorites.
A&M's juggling the quarterback thing now a little bit, maybe. Gamecocks have the defense to pull this off. We talked to Ian Fitzsimmons yesterday about it. He loves South Carolina in this game. I love the offenses in this one. Probably going to be maybe more about the defense, though, in this specific game. Boy, I think they've got to be challenged in this. I'm talking about the Aggies, but they've won 9 of the last 10 against South Carolina. Mm-hmm. A&M lane 3 on the road. Boy, everyone's calling this as their upset special.
They are.
So that means I'm going the other way, and I'm taking A&M.
A&M's been really impressive coming out of that Notre Dame loss at the crib in week number 1. And I know they haven't played a murderer's row of teams, but in there is a Missouri top 10 win. Last game for them, they beat LSU at home and put up almost 40 points. I am a little spooked out because of how good the pass rush is for South Carolina. As you mentioned, Kennard is an absolute stud. Dylan Stewart's a monster. And South Carolina's tied for second in the SEC in sacks. But I'm going to go with you against the grain on this. I think A&M's found themselves. Mike Elko's a heck of a coach. He did it at Duke, and he's already doing it at A&M. I'll lay the 3.
Rothman and Ice against the grain.
Head back to the Big Ten. Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers on the road at Iowa. The Hawkeyes, a 3-point home favorite.
I got to give it to Wisconsin offensively. They found a way to overcome 2 really big injuries in Tyler Van Dyke and then the Ches Malusi, and Braden Locke and Walker at running back have stepped up. Walker's really been good. He's got 10 touchdowns on the year. And Wisconsin's won 3 of their last 4. When you play Iowa, you know you got to try to slow down Caleb Johnson. And that's tough, especially at Kinnick. Kinnick is an absolute crazy environment. This is the hardest line for me to pick, AR, just based off of where Wisconsin is right now. I'm going to lay actually, you know what? I'm taking the 3. I'm taking the 3. Give
taking
me the
Bucky Badger. Yeah. Well, Cade's recovering from the concussion, right?
Yes.
And so Brandon Sullivan, dual threat, making his first start for the Hawkeyes against a Badger team that I know they feel like gave away one last week. So even at home, I just think starting a backup against the Badgers team that I think is going to be really hungry after last week, I think I have to take the 3 in Wisconsin.
And then the last one here, guys, this was Brady Quinn's game of the week outside of Ohio State, Penn State. Pitt on the road at SMU. Bo Bishop's Ponies.
Well,
given 7.
They already beat Louisville, and they get BC, Virginia, and Cal after this. So if they beat Pitt, probably go unbeaten in the ACC, right? Didn't have to play Miami, Clemson. So that Pitt, oh, by the way, yes, Pittsburgh defense just intercepted Kyle McCord again.
Another one.
I just heard. Boy, the Sharks are circling the boat.
Get bodied, Kyle McCord.
That was a pick 6 party, and he knows it. I just think they'll get by the Stangs. I think I'm going to take. You said SMU's lane 7.5?
No, it's just 7 here.
Oh, it's down to 7.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to take Pitt. I'm going to take the touchdown in Pitt.
SMU starting quarterback Kevin Jennings is cleared to play. I know there's question marks about both starting quarterbacks. They both look good here as far as their health coming in to this one. Pitt 7-0 for the first time since 1982 when old Dan Marino was starting for Pittsburgh.
Pitt was also 6-0 against the spread. I'm guessing they're 7-0 now.
I am actually going to roll with you on this. Give me Pitt. Give me the Panthers. They're playing some good ball this year. I'm going to take those points.
There you go, my man. All right, we come back with a Buckeye Bulletin. Tim May joins us from Happy Valley, and we'll find out what's the plan on the offensive line and what will his headline read. That's next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina, and at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture expert technicians who are quick but not rushed. When you hear the bell, breathe in and out. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today and find automotive peace. No appointment needed.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here for my friends at Affinity Whole Health. Affinity is the leader in testosterone and hormone replacement therapy, but they are also much more than that. They help men and women who are experiencing things like low energy, low libido, muscle loss, and weight gain. Turn it all around. You can feel amazing and live better, just like I can. It can be delivered right to your door, which is tremendous. Semaglutide for weight loss and testosterone and hormone replacement therapy for so much more. I've been a customer for years, and it works. Get started at feelgreatcolumbus.com.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry. Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry, Terry.
Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it.
Woo!
Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
FX's Grotesquerie.
This killer is someone who knows anatomy.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Detective, you have an entire family murdered.
Niecy Nash Betts.
The monster is out here.
Courtney B. Dance.
God knows what darkness we let in.
And Travis Kelsey.
There's no future after this.
FX's Grotesquerie. All new Wednesdays on FX. Stream on Hulu.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another furnace breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day furnace installation.
All right. Hopefully he's over there already or he's making his way. He's our man, Tim May. And he's from Letterman Row and also on the Tailgate Show with me tomorrow at the casino. My man, how we feeling? Or have you planted your flag?
I've not planted my flag, AR, but as we speak, I am driving past the hometown of Terrell Pryor, former Ohio State Buckeye quarterback, et cetera, and near Latrobe, as they called it over here, hometown of Arnold Palmer.
Yes. Get out your umbrella, my man.
I'm just setting the scene for you.
Okay, so you've been to every stadium in our fine land, pretty much. Where does Beaver Stadium rank for you as far as atmosphere, intensity, loudness, just general great feel for a college game?
First of all, when I first went to Beaver Stadium many years ago in the early 80s, it seems like it was about half that size because they started adding on. And it reminds me of the city of Houston back in the 60s and 70s, a city built with no zoning laws. That's what Beaver Stadium reminds me of, a stadium built with no clear plan in place in terms of matching upper decks or anything like that. He just kept building until he hit the sky. That's what Beaver Stadium reminds me of. And I still say to this day, it's really super ridiculously loud. But I swear the public address system has something to do with that. But, don't put me on a court of law and make me swear that in a court of law where I could be defamed. But bottom line is, it is a very loud place to play, but seemingly much louder when God puts his top over it for a night game, because in the afternoon, I don't know. It's not the loudest in the world, but it's still pretty darn impressive.
Tim May, let's take it to the field, because for me, the biggest headline that I'll be watching is, what does this offensive line look like tomorrow afternoon for Ohio State? Talk about the transition with what should be Donovan Jackson going to left tackle, and maybe your concern level for this offensive line moving some pieces around.
Well, yeah, there's got to be concern, because this is in my opinion, when I looked at this schedule, this was your second biggest game on the schedule in terms of challenges. The number one was Oregon. That proved to be the case. But just on the road, your two biggest foes before you get to the Big Ten championship game are both on the road, despite the fact you're playing 8 home games this year. But with that in mind, as we were just talking about, AR talking about the atmosphere at a home Penn State game is, right up there with anybody's in terms of loud intensity. The fans seem like they're right on you. So that's why, heck, this week in our LettermanRow.com, we pick a lot of things going into the game. And one of them is, I think one of my categories was offensive player of the game. I basically couched it with Ohio State wins this game, it's going to be whoever plays left guard, because that's such a linchpin for whether they get the job done tomorrow or not. And so with Donovan Jackson probably moving to left tackle, you got to figure it's going to be Austin Searveld or perhaps Carson Hinsman, who started every game at center last year, or maybe even Luke Montgomery. They may even rotate a couple of guys in there, but that guy's got to come through. With that said, I think they will get that. I think they'll get competent play by their offensive line tomorrow. And I keep reminding people, there's no shame in throwing the hell out of the football either. And as you saw last week, that was the great equalizer, or actually the great difference in the game was Ohio State. You take A, B, C, and D away, they can still do E and F. I like to use that term. And I really like some of the matchups for Ohio State in the passing game if they can protect Will Howard. And I also like, as Urban Meyer said, I did a little bonus Tim show with Urban Meyer that dropped yesterday, but basically he'd like to see Will Howard run the ball maybe in the 15 range or more, because that could also be a real difference maker in terms of sort of keeping the Penn State defense honest, especially at front seven.
Yeah, Tim May with us. I love that. I love that comment from him. I love that analysis from him. And I know that we've talked all about the microscope will be on Ohio State's offensive line. But this is a game that kind of plays into Ohio State's defensive hands as well, right? This is kind of a classic game where the tight end is involved for Penn State and the running game, and maybe they're juggling quarterbacks. But the defense is not going to be facing the weaponry they faced at Oregon, and they almost beat Oregon. I had a couple of big plays, one over the top, and then the read by the quarterback Gabriel. But this does set up, Tim, in my mind, is that the defense, I don't know how many points Ohio State needs to score for the defense to feel like, well, we can cap Penn State at a certain number and win it for you.
Yeah, the interesting thing, AR, you're exactly right. The interesting thing is, number one, who is going to play quarterback for Penn State? And then number two, the problems they present. Dylan Gabriel is about as smooth an operator as you're going to run up against in the Big Ten this year, in my opinion. The Oregon quarterback, and except for one play that bit him, like you said, that little keeper on him basically ended up being a naked boot where he scored from 27 yards out untouched. That was such a huge play in that game, and you can't get beat by something like that again. They know what Pribula is all about. I mean, they've got a whole half of tape when it was his game to win or lose last week against Wisconsin. So if Drew Allar can't go for long, you already know what gear Penn State's going to shift into. Excuse me, I got my metaphors mixed up there. But you're right. I mean, keeping that offense in check. They don't have great receivers. They got one really pretty good receiver, and of course that tight end number 44, kind of a poor man's Brock Bowers maybe or something. I mean, just all the things he can do and do well for them. He's got to, for the defensive players. I got a little story coming with Caleb Downs talking about this. You got to keep your eye on your focus for that play and not get caught up in all the shenanigans and the window dressing and everything that this new offensive coordinator likes to pull. The guy's very talented, but they bamboozled Wisconsin a couple of times last week, and it cost Wisconsin big.
All right, Tim May, when Buckeye Nation, when they wake up on Sunday morning and they finish their Boston cream donut and a cup of coffee and they say, wait a minute, I did not see / read what Tim May had to say about this game, what will your headline read?
So I'm going to be eating grits and bacon and maybe some fried eggs on the side. Boy, we've got them really kind of not giving a darn with that Boston cream pie donut.
We could make it a Bavarian cream if you'd like that instead.
That sounds more exotic. That's for darn sure. I'm going to go with something like Howard, Buckeyes stick to their knitting, and you know how to spell knitting in this regard. Put Happy Valley in anguish.
We like it. We're up against the clock. We'll talk to you more tomorrow, my man. Be safe. Enjoy the weekend.
Always a pleasure, fellas. See you, Matty.
Thanks. Tim May on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Up next, deep dive after a Sports Center update. Ryan Day, credit or only blame? We'll discuss next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
We all know Central Ohio's growing fast. It's making traffic worse and life more expensive. That's why voting yes on Issue 47 is so important. Issue 47 will help folks get to work faster and cheaper by creating Coda Rapid Bus Service. That means more routes, better hours, and more reliable service. That will expand access to transportation for everyone in our community, from the elderly to the disabled, to veterans and students. And Issue 47 will make our neighborhoods safer and more walkable by building 500 miles of sidewalks, trails, and bikeways. When we pass Issue 47, we'll get $1 billion in matching funds from the federal government to pay for it. We're already sending our tax dollars to D.C. Let's bring some of that money home to help our community. Issue 47 means safer neighborhoods and a better quality of life for our families. It's an easy call. Vote yes on Issue 47. Paid for by moving Central Ohio forward.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and a multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Timmy Hall. The last time the Buckeyes played in Happy Valley, defensive end JT Tuimoloau had one of the great games you will ever see. 6 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 sacks, 2 INTs, one of them a pick six, a forced fumble, fumble recovery, and a pass breakup. If he or Jack Sawyer bring some of that tomorrow, it's going to be a good thing. Noon kickoff for the Buckeyes. Our coverage will start at 6:30. In the NHL, the Jackets looking to stay with it, playing well right now. It's going to be tough, though. The 9-1 Winnipeg Jets are in town. 7 o'clock face-off here on the Fan. Dmitry Voronkov healthy and making his first start, and Elvis is in the net. NBA action tonight as well. The Cavs off to a great 5-0 start. They host the Magic at 7. High school football playoff time here in Ohio. We are on it. Grove City takes on Berlin at 7. Coverage on ESPN Columbus 1460 and the Fan's HD2. Breaking sports news on the Fan.
It's Friday, and there's football. I shall call it Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for all things football. The Fan. Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
All right, final hour of the program, Rothman and Ice. Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and the Bake Show at the switches today. We will have Johnny McGonigal, who's the Nittany Lions beat reporter from Penn Live, on at 2:33 and get some insight into the plan at quarterback, what they hope to have and what they can be if Drew Aller isn't playing the game. The other thing, you have to think about is, I know we're just thinking about this in a vacuum this season, but this will be the last time Ohio State plays in Beaver Stadium until 2028.
That's just wrong.
Now, they do come here next year, and then we'll have to wait for them to meet again. But so I'm not into this kind of enjoy it while we have it. I do think you're right. It'll be back around, and this one is the only one that's important right now because of the stakes. But what's at stake for both coaches is very interesting to me because I think we've lopped them both into the same barrel here, that they've both been bad against top 5 opponents. I'm not taking either one of them off the hook. It's atrocious, right? These types of programs are led by coaches who can win big games. And the big games are the key to everything. Now, with an expanded playoff, there is a little bit of, okay, you can backdoor into the playoff, backdoor to a title. You can have almost a wild card NFL feel. You get in the tournament, and I said it before the season, I'm not going to change from it. Ohio State's probably the last team you want to see coming out of the 5-hole or the 6-hole. There's just so much talent. Now, if the focus of the team, if they got in there and they were in a top 4 and they were a 5 or a 6, and then the focus starts to kind of go away a little bit, or guys start thinking of, how important is this really? Who knows? I can't, judge that yet. But I do know the very talented teams that get in with less expectations, like you're not a top 4, those are the scary ones.
Yeah.
Because maybe you get caught by them. But back to the real topic, which is who's got to win this game from a coaching standpoint. The beginning of the show, I took the 3 and 4 away from this thing. This feels to me like one of those in a vacuum games that I don't even know if Ohio State, I have a better feeling on Ohio State that they're a top 5 team. I don't know about Penn State. They've got to prove it to me, and they might this weekend. They really might. That defense might. And they may say Ohio State is as gettable as we thought they could be or hoped they could be before the season started. But now they have their own quarterback trouble. Drew Aller is supposed to play. Brady Quinn was on with us, Maddie. But this feels like, and I said at the beginning of the week, it's just a game that Ohio State is used to winning. They can grind it out. I said to Tim May that maybe, if Penn State doesn't score more than 24 points, you feel like you're going to win it, but who knows? But the stakes of this game, and we'll hear it because Paul Feinbaum was on ESPN the other day, and he talked about the stakes, and we'll listen to this, and then we'll react to it.
It's who do you expect the least from here? Ryan Day has an unbelievable record, as we all know. It's unmatched, except he can't seem to break through, and having lost to Michigan 3 straight years. I think he'll win this game. This is a game he always wins. And guess what? James Franklin always loses this game. He always blows it. He always underperforms, and that's what I'm watching for tomorrow in Happy Valley. The easiest and laziest take in college football, that James Franklin can't win the big one. He beat Ohio State, but it's been so long ago. I was an elderly man at that point. You see the record here, 1-12. That is a disastrous record. He always loses to Ohio State and Michigan. And it's just it's a mark on his resume that is otherwise very respectable, as you well know.
Okay, let's just say Penn State gets the win. Ryan Day under enormous pressure after already having a loss this season against Oregon. That would give him 2 losses in the early part of November specifically. What is at stake for the Buckeyes?
A great deal. It would put him on the cut line of the playoffs because they just don't have an impressive win. They have 2 good losses, which may not get him in the playoff. That's what's at stake for him. And then with Michigan in a couple of weeks, a game that, should he lose, I think we would all help him pack.
First of all, there's one thing that I don't think Penn State always underperforms in this game. They lose it, but I don't think they always underperform.
They're not getting blown out.
They're usually not getting blown out, and they always have a chance to win the game. And usually, and I'd have to go back, they're probably not generally favored in this game because in my mind, the last, I don't know how many, 8 or 9, I would say, or 10, whatever their is he 1-9? I would say that generally speaking, Ohio State is always a top 5 team going into this game. They're never ranked. I think the only time that they were ranked, I have to go back to 16 and see what the rankings were. But it feels like Ohio State's always the higher ranked team, and mostly they're favored.
Ohio State's dominated this thing for a while now. They've won 7 straight versus Penn State and 11 of the last 12 matchups against this program. And the one that they didn't win is the one you just mentioned in 2016 where Penn State got them there. And it's so interesting to me when we talk about the who needs it more part of this game, because you could talk yourself into this just being an even 50-50 lemon lime for both of these coaches, right? Because Coach Day's been knocking on the door, and you had the Georgia game and some other games baked into all of that throughout his time to where they have been close. There has been that feel of they can finally do it, but they haven't got it done. And that's just always what it's going to come down to for both of these programs right now. So you got Ohio State coming into this thing with, to me, what is the most dangerous red flag to have in football, and that is a massive question mark with your offensive line. And on the flip side of that, we don't really know how effective Drew Aller will be if he plays. And if you have to go to their backup quarterback, what does that do to their offense? One thing that I can't wait to see, specifically for Ohio State's defense, is can they contain Tyler Warren? Tyler Warren, as you know, as we all know, is one of the best tight ends in the country. He may win the John Mackey Award this year. And I brought up earlier that both these quarterbacks, Drew Aller and Will Howard, were brought to these programs for these moments. But for Ohio State, this is what Caleb Downs was brought here to do. Caleb Downs was brought in to line up against guys like this and show the ability to slow them down. Tyler Warren's going to get his. I don't know how much one-on-one coverage we get, but I have to imagine that Jim Knowles in his mind is confident in the skill set of Caleb Downs and what he can do, and getting him to create some static around Tyler Warren. So that's one matchup I cannot wait to see. We talked a ton about the offensive line for Ohio State, and rightfully so, but defensively, when you're looking at Ohio State going up against an aerial attack of Penn State that doesn't have a lot of scary dudes in the wide receiver room, it's been a disappointment for Julian Fleming transferring over there. He's had an issue with drops this year, but Warren and Downs could be a fun one tomorrow. And when you brought in Caleb Downs, that being Coach Knowles and Coach Day, these are the games where a guy like this with that type of ability needs to step up and slow down one of the best tight ends in the conference.
I'll go back to something you said earlier. I think Ryan Day needs it more. I do. I think the expectations of each program are much higher with Ohio State. I'm not saying that James Franklin, it wouldn't be a massive win for him and a massive boost of his narrative to change the narrative, because he's only got him one time. And by the way, I just looked. They weren't ranked when they beat. That's the irony of all this. Mm-hmm. They weren't ranked when they beat Ohio State in 2016 because they had already gotten blasted by Michigan. So I disagree with Feinbaum in that they always underperform. No, they just always don't win. And there is a difference. And so, but I think this is more on Ryan Day. I do. And part of the reason I'll bring back from what I said earlier, yes, technically this is a top 5 game, but I don't know how many people are yet sold that Penn State is a solidified, legitimate, bona fide top 5 team. Now, if they win it, congratulations, kudos to them. Beating Ohio State isn't easy anywhere, anytime, any place. But I just don't look at this the way I looked at Bama or Georgia or Clemson. I just don't look at it like that.
It's because of Penn State's history in these games. They don't have that vibe around them that they belong in this club. Their key card hasn't worked to get into this suite.
It's not a rush the field kind of win. It's a great feeling.
You don't
think
it's not a
storm? I don't know. Maybe for the fans to go all part. If they want to do it, do it. What I'm saying in my mind is it's not a because. And I'm not trying to take anything away from it because Ohio State has owned this rivalry. And that's the cool part, that they have owned it. And they should feel that vibe going in, even though they have some new players. But when you ask the question about who needs it more, my mind leans to Ryan Day. And not only, yes, this season, we know they both get a chance to backdoor their way in, regardless of who loses this game. But these are the 2 biggest games so far they've had on their schedule. If you lose both, whether they're close or not, and we assume that if they lost, it would be very close, outside of something catastrophic. But then they have to somehow find a way to, quote, need help. I don't know if they absolutely control their own destiny after this. But I'm coming back to why I say who needs it more, which is I never looked at Penn State as a national champion contender this year. If they want to sneak up through everybody, then I'll give them their praise. But there's only one team on that field tomorrow that everybody thought was a legit, you got to go through 100%. Them to win it all team, and that's Ohio State.
You're right.
And that's why Ryan Day needs it more.
You're right. And if Penn State does get this, there's a real chance that they go undefeated through the regular season. And that's a massive if, because we know Ohio State is absolutely coming into this thing laser focused based off of what happened in that game a week ago against Nebraska. So many branches off this tree, which makes it great. So many different angles that you can talk about, and it's going to be absolutely a fun ride tomorrow at high noon. I want you to have some fun, folks, because if you're a wrestling fan like myself, we are giving away right now 2 tickets to see AEW Collision live in Nationwide Arena Saturday, December 7th. Tickets on sale now via Ticketmaster. You got the question for
I
the
do
folks?
have the question. So 821-9710 is the number. Matty said earlier today there's one thing he's never watched and will never watch. What is that? 821-9710 is the number. And you tell Bake, he'll give you the tickets. We come back And the D in DAC stands for disrespect. And the call is coming from inside the house. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Men, if erectile dysfunction is affecting you, getting treated could have a dramatic impact on your relationship and your outlook on life. But it's also important where you get treated because your health matters. And working with an organization that practices excellent medicine and has significant expertise in men's sexual health can often result in a far better outcome. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're seeking a quality provider to treat your ED or are just not satisfied with your current situation, call us. We'll show you a true 5-star experience and work with you to find the right treatment for your specific medical situation. At Tri-State Men's Health, we truly are experts in men's sexual health. But it's more than that. Unlike the online pill pushers or so-called men's clinics that only offer one or a few treatment options, we offer the full spectrum of ED protocols. We can even use combinative therapies for better results. At Tri-State Men's Health, your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get all your holiday shopping done in just one stop with early holiday deals at Meijer. Save big this week on gifts for everyone. For the competitive ones on your list, select puzzles and board games are buy two, get one free. Share the sense of the season with Yankee Candle products. Buy one, get one for $1. And for those who believe that bigger is always better, save $200 on an Element 65-inch Zumo TV. Shop even more great gift ideas like these in the Meijer Holiday Gift Guide. Available on Meijer.com, in-store, or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Democrats will do anything to win. Changing the rules, mail-in ballots, cheating, and even opening our borders, all to win at any cost. Now they have a new scheme, Issue 1. Issue 1 would create a redistricting commission aimed at overturning key protections against gerrymandering in Ohio. Protections approved by over 70% of Ohio voters to prevent this exact kind of political manipulation of voting districts. And the members of this mysterious commission are backed by foreign special interest groups. They're unelected, unaccountable, and completely beyond voter control. If they abuse their power, there's no way to vote them out or hold them responsible. Their only purpose is to take control of Ohio's politics and turn the state from red to blue. This isn't democracy, it's deception. Don't let the Dems continue to rewrite the rules to rig the system in their favor. Protect Ohio's voice. Vote no on Issue 1. Paid for by Ohio Works.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Time now to get a look at that weather report as we head into your Friday. Today, much colder than any other day this week. 60 for the high, plenty of sunshine today. Cold tonight, low 37. Sunshine on your Saturday with a high of 62. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Please Snap Leads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, little Bet365 time.
Yes, sir, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. See for yourself when you sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. All
right, I'm looking at the Jackets tonight. I don't think Connor Hellebuck's in goal for Winnipeg. I haven't seen anything official on that.
Is he running from that smoke? He's running from that Jacket smoke?
Which means I have two choices here. One, I take the plus money on the Jackets because they're going to get to see another backup goalie. Or I do the mental hedge. And I just say, bet Winnipeg on the puck line at -1.5 at plus 155. Either way, I'm getting plus money. So I'm going to mental hedge it.
Okay.
I'll take the Jets -1.5 at plus 155.
Oh, man.
And then I'm happy either way.
So we have a playoff matchup tonight between...
Actually, I lied.
Yeah, we got
May not be happy either way. Because if Winnipeg wins by a goal, then I lose everything.
That's not a good
But
thing.
I'm willing to do what you always say. Scared money don't make
Scared money don't make no money, player.
Continue, sorry.
No, you're good, man. You're all good. Playoff matchup, rematch from last year between the Magic and the Cavs. Remember, that went 7 games. That was a grind. That game tips off tonight. No Paolo Banchero for the Magic, which obviously is a huge hit for Orlando. But I'm looking at the Cavs. I'm looking at threes made. And I'm looking at the Vandy boy and Darius Garland. Give me 3 threes made for Darius Garland at plus 210. 110, I'm sorry. Jalen Suggs, I'm sure, will be trying to harass Donovan Mitchell, which should free up Darius Garland. So plus 110, give me the juice for 3 3-pointers made for DG. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Dallas Cowboys are currently 3-4. They're behind the Eagles and behind Washington in the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys also play at Atlanta this weekend. Not tough. I mean, not easy for them. That's going to be a tough game for both, but they are on the road. And I was listening to this podcast of Micah Parsons, podcast The Edge, which, by the way, Maddie, I don't know if he's coming back this week. It sounds like he's not now. We'll have to double check that.
Okay.
But during his recent podcast, he sat down with Trayvon Diggs. So you had 2 Cowboys defenders discussing some impressive play from quarterbacks in the league. And not only do they think that Jaden Daniels has locked up the Offensive Rookie of the Year, but they believe that he's already a top 5 QB in the league. Now, that this year for sure, or close to it, but somebody and something was noticeably missing when they launched into. Now, I don't know for a fact because I didn't listen to the very beginning. Maybe they did set some criteria like, let's take our guy out of the mix. What do you think? I don't know if they did it. It doesn't sound like they did that from every story I've read. But when the 2 of them started talking about quarterbacks and their own guy doesn't come up, that's a little weird.
Where would you rank him among quarterbacks right now? I would say he's definitely top 10.
Higher.
You think he's top 5?
For sure. Who else you going to put in there?
Give us your top 5 right now.
I'm going to go him. I'm going to go Mahomes.
Marr. Gotta have Marr.
Yeah. Lamar. Josh Allen. Jalen playing pretty good right now, too.
Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback right now.
And Matthew Stafford. I love how Matthew Stafford played the quarterback position.
Sam Darnold could be in the top 5 conversation right now.
Yeah, Sam Darnold looking crazy too. So it's hard. There's a lot of good quarterbacks right now.
I can't give you a top 5 right now based on how everybody's performing.
Yeah.
It's just too hard.
I have no issue with any of that because it's a right now conversation. And that's where I think their out is. Their guy isn't a top 5 guy right now.
Why bring it up, though? I agree with you. They're not lying.
It may be one of those, like you said, in that it may be a listener question or something like that. I don't know. No, I'm just saying, like in a situation like that, maybe
you don't have to do it.
No, but I know. But maybe they stumbled into a YouTube comment or something like that. I have no issue with that. I don't think Dak should have an issue with that because if Dak's being real with himself, he's not a top 5 quarterback right now. So no, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because all the guys that they mentioned, maybe not all of them, but probably the guys right out of the gate who they mentioned, I think are deserving of being the top 5. Dak's not even close to that right now.
I think you stay away from it. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's disrespectful to your own guy. I think that it's just unnecessary.
But, like, it's disrespectful because it's just a right now thing.
I wouldn't even take on the topic.
And they're just, I have no problem with that. Like, Dak, that would be super thin skin by Dak if he had a problem with that.
All right. I'm not denying what you're saying is factually correct. And what they're saying is factually correct. Just wouldn't do it. I don't see the point in it. They're not a good football team right now. And I don't think they can get into just talking about their guy just got a massive contract. I just think you leave it off the table. To me, you want to start ranking defensive guys, their expertise, then that would be fine. It'd be like, when you wanted to rank producers here at the Fan and you didn't mention Baker. Like, I'm kidding.
Baker's definitely
feelings.
I'm just thinking you just stay away from it. That's all I'm saying. You're right. They're not lying. They're not. He's not. In fact, maybe the oddest name out isn't Dak for sure. The odd name out, I think, would be Burrow because he's a little bit of the forgotten dude now, and I think he was in everybody's top 5.
Oh, easy.
Coming into the year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about, there's a difference between production and talent, right, and all that. Because I think, obviously, Cousins is a top 5 producing quarterback. But I don't think people have him in the top 5, and I understand why. From an exciting standpoint and a talent standpoint, Jaden Daniels is there. They did put Goff in there. They had Stafford in there, had Mahomes, and who was they even gave Sonny D a little credit there. That was pretty nice of them. That was pretty cool. Yeah. But Stroud wasn't in there, and he hasn't been playing one lately, but he's lost some. So, no, I like it. It's a real conversation. I
think at the end of the day, they got a lot of love for Dak. I just think they're being honest, and I have no issue with that. And we'll see if it turns into something down the road. Yeah. I'm sure Dak was asked about it today or will be asked about it. But knowing Dak, I don't think he'll feed into it, nor do I think he's going to care that much. Because he's like, you know what? I'll get 60 M's a year. Take that.
Yeah. Just think you stay away from the obvious, which is snubbing your own teammate. I just don't. That's all.
But is it a snub, though? Like, that's my thing. It's not a snub.
It's a snub because of who it's coming from.
It's not a snub, though, AR, because it's real. Like, this was like, oh, we are watching Dak play at a high level and they still left out their guy. Then I'd be like, that's a snub. This is like, they'd be lying if they put him in the top 5.
He's having a down year. I think you'll kind of leave it at that is my point. I don't think you try to brighten the point by talking about it. That's all. But it's real to them, and they did it. All right, there are your pre-snappers. Hey, who won the big prize? Maddie's wrestling tickets. Who knew that he had never seen Halloween and he will never watch a scary movie?
Our guy Michael, first caller, and he knew right away.
Michael, well done. I hope one day you will.
Is he sitting next to Maddie at AEW?
Oh, that's true.
I'm kind of mad at AEW right now. I don't know if I'll be in the building for that one. I don't know yet.
We got beef in the streets.
You got snubbed?
We still got a month to go. If they pick up the creative a little bit, I'll be in the building. I am excited though, Beck, tomorrow for Crown Jewel. I'll have to catch up on that after the game since it's 1:00 in the afternoon our time.
The only way you will be in the building is if Ohio State doesn't make the Big Ten championship, because that's Big Ten championship night.
Ooh,
well, you'd have a tough choice. I mean,
Will they be there? Will they be at the Big Ten championship game?
Well, we get a little more insight.
We know a little more.
We get a little more insight with Johnny McGonigal, who covers Penn State for Penn Live. Who are they exactly? Hopefully he'll tell us next. Rothman and Ice of the Fan.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
QC Kinetics not only has the latest non-invasive treatments for joint pain relief, but they also have one of the most respected names in sports medicine, serving as their medical director. That's Dr. Ray Tesner.
As the founder of Sports Medicine Grant and a classically trained orthopedic surgeon, it's exciting to be involved with the latest advances in regenerative medicine and QC Kinetics.
Well, QC Kinetics is making a huge difference in the quality of my life and others as well.
As folks already know, Bobby Carpenter and Sat Sullinger are sports legends in Columbus. QC Kinetics has already made a big difference in their lives, and also for Bobby's father, Rob Carpenter, a 10-year NFL veteran.
And the QC Kinetics team are seasoned medical professionals.
One of the cool things about being the medical director of QC Kinetics is the privilege I have of working with our staff, who have 15 years of experience in regenerative medicine.
You could be next. Go to QCkinetics.com/Columbus and call QC Kinetics today for your complete complimentary consultation. 380-208-4544.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting over... Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Big Game Preview.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company. We love what moves you.
All right, a lot of motivation in this one, both squads. Penn State, I don't know how much disrespect they feel being a home dog as a third-ranked team in America, but we find out from Johnny McGonigal, Penn State football beat reporter at Penn Live, and he's on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Johnny, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, let's get to the real stuff here. How much do you know about Drew Aller? How much do you know about Bo? What have they been doing in practice? And is this truly a game-time decision? Where do you have it?
Yeah, I think it will be a game-time decision, but at the same time, you know, seeing as Drew was out there in practice, full participant, active participant, at least in the media window on Wednesday. The media window for us is about 10 minutes, and that's about all we get. But the fact that he was out there and the fact that Ethan Grunkemeyer, the number 3 quarterback, was working with the scout team, I think is a good sign for Drew Aller to play this weekend against Ohio State.
We've had so many conversations this week about both these head coaches and who needs it more just based off their records against elite teams, against each other within the conference and all of those different branches off of this tree. What's been the vibe around James Franklin from the Penn State fans when it comes to this game and big games going into tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, I think the record kind of speaks for itself. 1-9 against Ohio State and James Franklin's tenure. You know, there's been a lot of really close games, but haven't quite been able to get over the hump. I think this year is a little bit different for at least a portion of the fan base that, you know, now you have the 12-team playoff and you're undefeated here going into this game. I think some people, and with respect to the narrative and all that with Penn State, you know, that there might be a little less pressure or less, certainly, you know, less riding on this game, given that you can lose and still make the college football playoff. But there are some that, you know, and understandably so, look at an undefeated team and look at the opportunity that they have. You know, they can change the expectations, which preseason I think was to just get in the field. They have a real chance to go and win the Big Ten and contend for a national title. And beating Ohio State goes a long way with that. And then the narrative around Franklin not being able to win a big game.
Johnny, the big if over on this side is the Ohio State offensive line and how they can get this thing going and be able to still run the ball effectively. But if they can't, or it's not great, and they do put the ball up, what's the confidence in the Penn State secondary to D up these weapons and the guys that you've seen so far this year, Jeremiah Smith and Emeka and the rest?
Yeah, I mean, this Penn State secondary certainly hasn't faced wide receivers as talented, as polished as Jeremiah and Emeka, respectively. But I have been impressed with what they've done both at corner and safety. You know, corner bringing in a couple of SEC transfers, A.J. Harris and Jalen Kimber from Georgia and Florida. Harris, in particular, a sophomore, former 5-star, you know, prospect, has played really well, aggressive in man coverage without committing, you know, penalties. So I'm interested to see how they approach trying to guard Jeremiah Smith, whether it's A.J. Harris trailing him all game or just staying true to their base set. At safety, you know, Penn State lost K.J. Winston early in the season to a long-term injury. Winston was projected by some to be a first-round pick in the 2025 draft. But they've kind of got on without him in large part because Jalen Reed has been so good. Pick at the end of the USC game, pick 6 at Wisconsin. He's been making plays all season. So I think it's a pretty talented group in the secondary and maybe their deepest that James Franklin has had, at least in the last few years.
Let's talk about the offensive coordinator here for Penn State, Andy Kotelnicki, coming over from Kansas after now watching this team play throughout the season and how they've gone about their business on offense. What's been different going from last year to this year and how they've been able to generate points and yards?
Yeah, I think the difference has been twofold. It's been the product and kind of the vibes. You know, the product on the field, pre-snap motion, you know, movement, shifts, unbalanced lines, keeping defenses and defensive coordinators, you know, on their heels a bit, helping Drew Aller grow into his second year as a starter, helping Tyler Warren showcase his talent as one of the best, if not the best, tight end in the country, giving Nick Singleton and Katron Allen more of an opportunity to hit on some explosive runs. And in terms of the vibes, I mean, last year that offense was stale. I use the word uninspired a lot in my writing over the last year. And Andy has really, changed the thinking around that, changed the way the guys operate, even off the field, has empowered his players to speak more, to be more involved in game planning. Drew Aller, in particular, has played more confidently this year, has played more freely. And I think Andy Kotelnicki and his system and how he manages relationships and develops guys, I think has a lot to do with that.
Last year, Singleton and Allen, neither one of them got double-digit touches. What's the number each one of those guys has to have in your mind for them to be successful against Ohio State tomorrow?
I think it depends partially on how Drew looks, his mobility in and out of the pocket, his pocket awareness, scrambling for first downs has been a big part of his game so far this season. So if he's at all hampered by that left knee, that injury he suffered out at Wisconsin, they might be leaning on the running game a little bit more. I would expect, whether it's running the ball or catching the ball out of the backfield, Nick Singleton should have 15 to 20 touches in this game. I don't know if he will, but I just remember last year, he started out hot, in the first quarter, and then they just totally went away from him. I think both of those guys have to be heavily involved. Keep a close eye, though, on Nick because he missed the UCLA game, took a beating against Illinois the week before, had 10 carries for 26 yards at USC, had a really nice one-handed touchdown at Wisconsin. But he hasn't been as explosive in recent weeks as he was earlier in the year. He might be dealing with, just some bumps and bruises that you get into November now at this point in the season.
Let's talk about the atmosphere. Penn State at night, whiteouts, one of the best in the country. You can just feel it coming through the TV. But now that this game's being kicked off at high noon, can you describe what you think could be the difference in juice in the stadium between a night game with Ohio State coming into town and a high noon kick tomorrow?
Yeah, look, this game should be at night, right? This should be under the lights of Beaver Stadium. Last year, it should have been under the lights of the Shoe. But big noon kickoff is big noon kickoff, and when they won a game, they got it in the Big Ten. And I think the place will still be electric. It'll still be high energy. It'll be juiced up because these fans know what this game means. It's Penn State, Ohio State. It always means a lot every year. And think about it too. Penn State's going at Ohio State next year, and then in the new Big Ten, they won't play each other again until 2028, I believe. There's a 2-year gap there. So this will be the last time Ohio State comes to Beaver Stadium for a few years. And I think Penn State fans, whether it's at noon or 3 p.m. or 1 a.m., I think they'll be plenty loud and plenty into the game.
The game within the game also is the fact that Buckeye quarterback Will Howard is a Pennsylvania native, and he did say that he was not thought of as being a guy that was good enough to play there. How has that played out this week?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one because, Will Howard has had a great career, and I liked a lot what he did at Kansas State and so far what he's done with Ohio State. But, he was an under-the-radar recruit that wasn't recruited by really anyone of the Penn State, Ohio State caliber. I think, Kansas, Maryland, Rutgers. And so he's made a really good career for himself. I don't think Penn State is going to be using that as bulletin board material. I think the game itself and the importance around it is enough to get these guys up for it. Interesting, though, we talked to Drew Shelton, Penn State's left tackle, this week, who was a high school teammate of Will Howard, and he raved about his leadership and the way that he operates an offense and a team. And so there's plenty of respect, I think, for what he can do as a quarterback and as a player.
Yeah, outstanding breakdown, Johnny. Johnny McGonigal, Penn State football reporter at Penn Live. Thanks, my man. Always appreciate your insight and enjoy the game tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Johnny was on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, we come back and play a little Tell the Truth to wrap it up with final score predictions. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
This is Barack Obama. Ohio, you know about hard work. Reverse Aesthetics. Our medical weight loss program includes popular medications like semaglutide and tirzepatide, both of which are supercharged by our body sculpting treatments. For only $2.99 per month, under the supervision of our board-certified medical doctor, Reverse Aesthetics can help you achieve your weight loss goals while tracking progress quarterly. We have plenty of inventory and can begin treatment within 48 hours of your consult. Schedule now at reverse-aesthetics.com or call us at 614-656-4000.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here for my friends at Affinity Whole Health. Affinity is the leader in testosterone and hormone replacement therapy, but they are also much more than that. They help men and women who are experiencing things like low energy, low libido, muscle loss, and weight gain. Turn it all around. You can feel amazing and live better, just like I can. It can be delivered right to your door, which is tremendous. Semaglutide for weight loss and testosterone and hormone replacement therapy for so much more. I've been a customer for years, and it works. Get started at feelgreatcolumbus.com.
Trust and Will knows that you're likely celebrating a loved one's birthday this month because fall is the most popular birthday season in America. And Trust and Will celebrates by protecting what matters most. Trust and Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, designed by attorneys but customized by you. Visit trustandwill.com with offer code Columbus for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust and Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Bishop and Friends.
You can't really judge what this team is or not. You know it's talented. Until you're punched in the mouth, you don't really know what you have.
Bishop and Friends.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Post Malone is teaming up with Raising Cane's to empower the next generation of artists. For a limited time, 2 exclusive double-sided Post Malone posters are available at Raising Cane's. So post up your combo at Cane's while supplies last and support a good cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Football is all about winning, and so is the Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 dealerships and a collision center, we've got everything you need to stay game day ready. Don't forget our Carvenience service, the most convenient way to service your vehicle. We pick it up, drop off a rental, and we bring it back to you when it's done. Plus, every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Hinderer Motor Company, where convenience and confidence meet. Visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft beer.
All right. Tell the truth. Does Tim Tebow look like he's teaching 8-year-old Marty Smith football? Because Marty's wearing a polo, like a little bit of old school where the sleeves come all the way down closer to the elbows, and it's a little baggier, like a normal golf shirt. And Tebow's in the schmedium that he looks like he played middle linebacker, not quarterback.
Tebow literally probably just got done hitting a set of curls before he came on camera. That's what it looks like right now. He's in shape. He looks good, but the polo is tight.
Nice.
It's tight. Looks good.
Yeah, can't crush him for that. All right, Bake, what you got?
Okay, guys, let's start off with our national day. Today is National Calzone Day. What toppings would you put in your ultimate calzone?
Ooh. Toppings or like stuffings?
Whatever you want to call
it. Okay.
Where you at, big dog? You're the pizza king on the show.
Well, back in the day. I mean, I don't eat all of that stuff anymore. I try not to.
You said you eat a pizza, 2 pizzas.
No, I know,
weekend.
but I'm for a calzone. He just mentioned, you'd want sausage, you'd want all that, which I don't eat. So, boy, I haven't had one in a long time.
They're fire.
What are we stuffing that thing with?
In mine, I'm going pepperoni, sausage, banana peppers. And in there as well, I'll take a few jalapenos.
Hi.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we're getting down.
Should we keep the bathroom door open just in case
I want to air it out?
You need to sprint.
Bring the Febreze as well. But, yeah, that's what's in my calzone. And give me a side of marinara, too.
Oh, for the dipping.
Absolutely.
All right. I will do what you usually do, and I will live vicariously through you.
So you're going the same?
No, I went back old. It would be more like sausage, cheese. I'd probably put in red peppers. I would like that.
What do you get on your pizza now when you eat pizza?
Sometimes I put chicken, veggie, that kind of thing.
There's your calzone then, right there.
Oh, see, I didn't go that route. I could go chicken, spinach, red pepper.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
That works.
Maddie, help me through it.
You can't handle the truth.
All right, guys. Bob Costas is retiring from baseball play-by-play after 42 years. Who is your favorite play-by-play man of all time?
God rest his soul. Vin Scully. I mean, watching those late-night Dodger games, that was always a good vibe. Right now, who else do I enjoy, though? Tell you what, I think Joe Davis does a heck of a job. He just got done doing the World Series, but he also does Dodger games, too. So I'm in on Joe Davis. I think he's good.
He's very good. I got to meet Vin Scully at Chavez Ravine up in the booth years ago.
That's amazing.
It was surreal. But for me, this guy reading the Sunday night TV lineup of 60 Minutes and the Sunday night movie, Murder, She Wrote, Pat Summerall, to me, was, it just meant it was time to go to your room and pretend to finish your homework and all that. It was when he would do the U.S. Open also, outside of him working with Madden and being like the team. But when he did the 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the Sunday night movie, it just, Summerall is my childhood, and Pat Summerall to me he wasn't the most exciting guy, which made him even bigger for me because he was that good without having to artificially inflate anything. Pat Summerall's my guy.
Did you say I know my truth?
I know my truth.
Did you just body Gus Johnson right there?
In what way?
Let's see.
I'm okay with that.
What?
He doesn't have to ramp it up or,
No.
I'm
I have no problem with guys that get. No. You want guys that get excited. For me at that time, I remember, it was just different styles, different personalities. Absolutely. He's about as exciting as it gets. But
you got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings. You'll get him tomorrow. Clayton Gus baked it. He wanted to body Gus Johnson, apparently, not you.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Gus fan.
Really?
But, yeah.
Gus.
I think
that's why Baskin-Robbins makes 31 flavors, though, Maddie.
31 flavors. This has got to be tough. All right, go ahead.
Garrett Wilson had a spectacular leaping one-handed touchdown grab last night. Is that the best catch you've ever seen?
Unbelievable catch. And I think the beauty of it is getting the shin down. That was it. I don't think it was a better catch than OBJ's, actually securing the football.
Yeah.
So I will not say that it was better than that. I know people were saying it was because of the body control and getting the shin down, which obviously was unbelievable. If you're saying best catch of all time, it probably either was Tyree's helmet pin.
Yeah.
That, to me,
that was wild.
Jumps out.
Wild.
So David Tyree?
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or if you give me any sport, it's Jim Edmonds by a mile. If you haven't seen the catches in center field that Jim Edmonds has made in his lifetime, it doesn't even make sense.
He was an absolute dog. In the baseball world, I'd have to go with the OG and Willie Mays in that catch. That was just absolutely
Check out Edmonds'
silly.
catch in center field
I
over
don't know
his
if
head
there's
as well.
anything that could top Willie Mays, but I will check that out. I'll go with OBJ, though, in football. To me, that's still the GOAT of all catches.
He ain't lying.
With 3 fingers.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Or
Real
a thumb
quick.
and 2 fingers, whatever you...
Real quick, I want to get to this one. The Cavs are 5-0. They play the Magic tonight, tomorrow on the road in Milwaukee, then Monday at home against the Bucks. Do they make it to 8-0?
It's going to be tough because the one against Milwaukee tomorrow is a back-to-back, but Milwaukee does not look good at all. I'm going to go with no. They won't be undefeated come Monday, but they're special right now.
I'd ride Maddie. I mean, Maddie knows this better than anybody. Yeah, they should be. I don't see any problem with them being undefeated.
I said they won't be, though.
Oh, you said they won't be?
No, they won't be.
Who are they losing to?
I just think with the back-to-back to Milwaukee, that could get them tomorrow because Milwaukee's going to be so locked in after being 1-4, and they'll be rested.
Sorry, my bad. I was still thinking of my Ohio State score.
Now we'll do it.
And the truth shall set you free.
I got 24-21, Buckeyes. Give me a push.
That's so funny because look what I wrote down. 24-20.
Woo.
Yeah.
Okay. You got them
Ohio
covered.
State. Yeah, even though all Franklin does is lose this game but cover. I think he's 7-3 against the spread against Ohio State, even though he's 1-9.
There you go.
Straight up.
Hey, real quick, the boys are out at Hollywood Casino. Mike wants you to come by and take selfies with them for 3 hours, and also it's Tool of the Week, so don't move.
All right, enjoy that. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be back to talk to you on Monday. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Download the Prime Sports Ohio app today or visit primesportsbook.com and use the promo code JUSTSPORTS for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Big weekend in the Big Ten. Ohio State's a 3.5-point favorite over Penn State tomorrow. Michigan's a 14.5-point underdog to Oregon. And the Indiana Hoosiers are an 8-point road favorite at Michigan State. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Hey Columbus, Caden Curry here, Ohio State student athlete for Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. When it comes to hard work, whether on the field or the farm, I need something that's as tough and reliable as I am. That's why I trust Kubota diesel tractors from Green & Sons. Kubota's diesel tractor motors are high-powered, reliable, and don't stop running, just how I like to play. So when you're serious about getting the job done, you need the Kubota equipment you can trust from Green & Sons. Check them out at greenandsons.com or stop by one of their stores in Mount Sterling and in Raymond, north of Marysville.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. If you want to make the best deal in town on a new Honda, make sure you visit my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. And Rich tells me you're going to get 1.90% APR up to 60 months on most new 24s and 25 Hondas. They'll give you the details. Of course, you'll get same-day service, no appointment needed. And how about an extra $1,000 for your trade if you have a 2014 or newer vehicle? All with the great people at Germain Honda of Dublin.
A vote for Sherrod Brown is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hey, what's up? It's Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night, and you can't stand your CPAP machine. The good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your significant other will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. Yeah, Marysville. If you're snoring and waking up all of Marysville or wherever you live and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also check him out online, sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, Sleep Better Marysville.